My mic was muted. Hello, Internet. Welcome to another week of Soldiers of the Lich Queen. I'm Sam, your Dungeon Master, and while I finish chewing my breakfast, I'm going to pass over to Justin for some channel announcements.
Muted on OBS. Hi, everyone.
There we go.
Just a bunch of stuff going on today. Announcements before we begin.
We're doing great today.
We're doing awful today.
We're at the top of our game.
If the stream goes down today, it's because there's a huge windstorm going on outside my apartment right now, and it's been flickering the lights all day. So, just a heads up to everybody watching. Also, we have a podcast up on iTunes, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Podbean. You can check it out. You can listen to all 55 current episodes of Beneath the Tide. Episode 56 gets uploaded on Wednesdays. And you can listen to the backlog of Demystifying DMing.
Yeah. Gonna work on that eventually.
Woo! And I might go through the process of putting up all the other D&D campaigns on our podcast stuff, because I have nothing better to do.
Mood.
And that's it, really.
All right. Are we ready to get back into this recap?
Yeah.
All right. Need to make sure I'm ready. Properly hydrated. Okay. Hola, beholes and frijoles, and welcome back to Soldiers of the Bitch Queen. After watching the love of his life leave with the man who nearly killed him, we started last episode with Sid lost in the sauce wayfarer getting absolutely and irrecoverably fucking inebriated. That's smash for the uninitiated. After watching him try to take his own drunk ass to bed, the camera pans over to Ilvim and Drew, who apologize to Mirth for almost assaulting an ambassador in his establishment. Cue Game of Thrones, A Song of Dice and Pyre. Ilvim stays behind while everyone goes to bed and begins a sick, nasty smear campaign, successfully convincing a group of Onyx Cap performers that Ambassador Navi is a virgin who got his ass kicked by a 13-year-old. As Ilvim heads to bed, they notice a familiar group entering the establishment, but, unable to place them, offers them drinks on the house. Meanwhile, Drew gets a passed-out Sid a glass of water before turning in for the night, while Hannah Montanable and Ilvim stay up and discuss phase 2 of the smear campaign, which I'm not going to tell you about because fuck you don't pay my rent. While JK involves Hannibal the animal disguising himself as Ambassador Navi and letting the children throw rotten fruit and vegetables at him. Anyway, the night comes to a close, and Sid, I make good decisions wayfarer, wakes up with a massive fucking hangover, which he copes with by writing several more letters of varying purposes, which he reveals over Breckie to be letters to his mom and grandparents about the beef with Ambassador Fuckface and the flooding that destroyed Mandrake Crossing. Ilvem, I'm so sick of talking to you fuckheads' last name, talk shop with Sid about the smear campaign and how fucked it is that hot assholes just get whatever they want. Oh shit, it just got real. And the group decides to find a post office and then Bonegrinder 2 Electric Boogaloo. Spoiler alert, Pyre doesn't have a working postal system because fuck me, I guess. The party sets off to sweet and sexy Silvergate in search of a caravan to get Sid's dizzity dang letters on their dizzity dang way, and they meet a dizzity dang tabaxi by the name of Dew Upon Midnight because D and Daddy is completely incapable of making an unfuckable NPC. The group then leaves for the Bonegrinder, but they're stopped by a ship bigger than my dick entering the city. After some techie the stream broke what the hecky, Sid, I studied once wayfarer, learns that the ship is from Galden, a nation comprising 2 cities connected by a portal which is apparently ruled by some living god bitch. The group figures someone important must be aboard, if not the living god himself, because the party sees his number 1 big and scary gift bodyguard on deck. Sid watches as Ilvim seems to be pretty big time comfy with the whole situation, but ultimately says nothing. Alexa, play all right then, keep your secrets. After some more staring and lore learning goodness, the party goes on to grab some healy wheelies, that's healing potions for the uninitiated, before entering the Bonegrinder. Cue the disaster siblings being their own worst enemies. First up on the wheel of Spank Me Harder is a room of living weapons which the group manages to dispatch with minimal injury as everyone except Sid fights for the title of Party Tank. However, the party proves that nobody is a tank and nothing is sacred as Sid and Drew end up getting absolutely fucking bodied in the next room, not by the animated armor living ballista or shifting floor, but by Hannaswell yeeting himself off a 20-foot ledge and accidentally fireballing the shit out of his siblings. Some quick and quirky heals later, and Sid and Drew are back on their feet, and the siblings fuck up the remaining naughty boys like Taco Bell fucks up my butthole. We pick up one whole ass short rest later as the disaster siblings enter their 3rd room in the Bonegrinder, already and a raring to ride. Now come on, D and Daddies, let's fight some D and Baddies. That was a good one.
I glossed over so much of that when I read it last night.
I feel like I kind of just
Really?
black out while those happen.
I really hope that we get like new viewers for the first time, like in the middle of me reading that, and they're just like, "What did I just click on to?"
Excuse me. I feel like I black out when writing most of them. So something
And then
else
you-
takes over.
And then it's just a completely new experience for you when I read them. You're like, "What did I write? I did what? Oh, okay. Taco Bell what?" Okay, so y'all finish up your short rest in the second room of the Bonegrinder. You remember from last time that if you sit still for more than a couple hours, the Bonegrinder starts to get angry and essentially tries to eject you out of it, so the next person in line can go. But an hour-long short rest is not long enough to engage that. So, y'all finish your resting.
Yay.
You just finished the room with the animated armor and animated ballista, which all lie broken behind you.
Yeah.
I think the armors are like mostly melted too,
Nice.
because one of them got just melted by heat metal. Another one got obliterated by a fireball.
Sick.
Oh yeah, also once the encounter ended, the floor stopped shifting and just leveled out at level with the two entrances. So you've got the path behind you, which leads back to the entrance. As you remember, the entire dungeon basically like folds up behind you and then shifts back, so that the entrance to whatever room you're in is just the entrance to the Bonegrinder. But then you can also move forward through the next hallway of this entire establishment, which is made of just huge shifting pieces of clockwork metal, bands of brass and copper. You can see gears poking in through the walls and everything, and almost the doors are almost like an open aperture, and you can proceed forward.
Nice. I would like to proceed forward. We're moving cautiously into the next room, keeping an eye out for traps, floors that will open up underneath us, all that good jazz.
Okay. Can everybody make me a perception check as you walk?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Low wisdom Hannibal.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Is a 16.
Okay.
4.
17.
9.
Okay. So as you're all walking forward,
I have a wisdom of 8.
you're progressing through the hallway. Those of you that got higher than a 15 are perfectly aware that there are no traps in this hallway.
Nice.
So you proceed forward, and the next room you get into.
As soon as we enter the room, I would like to cast Armor of Agathis, please.
Okay. So you come into the next room. Ilvam immediately, like, as soon as you're through the door, just tap and then glittery ice all over their body. You come into this room and you can see counters and chairs and tables and an oven in the corner and food laid out on the counters, and you appear to have walked into a kitchen.
I don't think we should eat any of that food, first off.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
What if it's like, instead of like cursed food, it's like blessed food, and we get something cool from eating it rather than something bad?
Why don't you try then?
I mean, if you'd like to test out that theory, knock yourself out, but I don't think it's a good idea.
Me neither. I'm gonna cast Mage Hand,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna float my Mage Hand over to the food and like poke one of the items of food. Just poke.
Yeah. You can see there's like some fruits laying out. You can find like a pear. You poke it, and it like rolls back and forth as you poke it.
I'd like to eat something, not an apple.
No, okay. Just like pick up a turkey leg.
No, something like
A pear?
something small. Yeah, a pear. I'll take the pear.
Okay, so you just take the pear. Okay. As soon as you take it, actually, as you take it, make me a perception check.
Okay.
Pears are so gritty.
They are.
I don't know if I've ever
19.
had
Okay.
pear.
As you take it in your hand, you note, like, right before you're about to take a bite out of it, you notice, like, this is way heavier than a pear should be, and, like, you notice it feels like cold and hard, like more like a pear should have some give to it, and
Just like me.
you notice your fingers also like slightly pass through the outside of the pear, As you investigate it further, you see through the illusion on it, and you notice you're basically holding just a fused together hunk of metal with an illusion of a pear around it. And as you look around the room, now that you've seen through that illusion, you can basically see all the food is basically just fused together scrap metal, vaguely in the shape of food with illusions around it.
Okay, so as it turns out, we can't eat this food. It's not blessed or cursed, probably.
Is there like a doorway? Like what's on the other
You
side
see,
of this room?
you see a familiar on the opposite side of the room. You see a familiar aperture-like doorway, but the aperture is currently closed.
Okay.
Okay, so
And so there's the counters, chairs, the food that's not really food, and then you said like
There's an oven. There's like a big
oven.
brick oven, and then there's a big dining room table too.
Can I go look in the oven?
I was gonna say I'm gonna like cautiously walk around with my spear and just kind of like gently poke things, ready for something to like move.
All right, what do you start with for poking?
The stools at the counter.
So you like walk over and poke the stools, and they like dook, 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 dook. They like wobble side to side, but nothing.
Okay. How about everyone? You stay here at the entrance. I'm gonna go poke stuff. Keep an eye on my back, okay?
I don't want to look in the oven.
Well, would you like to poke stuff? And I can wait at the back?
I'd love to poke stuff.
Okay. Then we will switch so Drew can go poke stuff. And I will wait at the back, ready to toss my spear if anything inanimate moves.
Okay. So just standing there with the spear, like at the
Yep.
ready. All right, Drusilla, what are you going for first?
So we already got this thing. Drew's just gonna walk towards the oven, and anything on either side of her is getting hit with the quarterstaff.
Okay, so just like as you're you're just smacking the quarterstaff around as you walk, just knocking stuff off top counters, breaking plates, just smashing into stuff. As you walk across the counters and like fling stuff around, it, food and knives and plates and stuff scatter across the floor, but nothing animates and attacks you.
Then I'm gonna look in the oven.
Okay. You lean down and look in the oven. You can see that you can see a fire burning, and as you like lean down, you can feel the heat coming off of it, and discover that the fire there is not an illusion. That appears to actually be burning. And then you hear sort of like a as the flames like flare into life. And I need to make you a dexterity saving throw.
Fuck.
Yep.
13.
Okay, so you take half damage.
Oh.
As you all see the stove, basically the opening of the stove, which is kind of like it's like a semicircle where like the curve is at the top, or like an archway, like a pizza oven basically. It like you can see something about like the bricks around the opening kind of like crack and move almost like a mouth, and it like turns into a frown before just a cone of fire belches out of the opening.
Love it.
And Drusilla takes 7 points of fire damage as it just belches out a cone of flame into the rest of the room.
Oof.
And Sid, would you like to take your ready to action?
Yes, I would like to toss my spear.
Okay.
We're fighting an oven.
Don't worry, guys. I got it cornered. Don't worry.
Don't worry, we're fine.
It is large sized.
That would be a 17.
That does hit.
Hoo-hoo. I will take that 6 piercing damage to the bank.
Okay. All right. All right. And as you throw that, it like the spear like flies over, and you can tell it's made of brick, so it's pretty hard to damage this thing. You manage to like hit a section of mortar basically right between some bricks and just sink the spear right into the side of it, and it like pushes itself up on its like brick feet. Basically, you can see it's basically formed into some kind of like quadrupedal squat creature with just that's mostly mouth and fire, and it like starts moving and bumping into the counters around it, which start to like get knocked out of the way. As it does this, the dining room table on the far side of the room, also its legs like start to bend and move, and you can see also several of the knives on the ground begin to like quiver and stand up on their own.
Excellent.
So
Love
let's roll
this
for initiative.
us. Love this for us.
Brutal.
We love this.
Oh, that was
It's like-
bad.
Oh my god, that
It's like being on the
is
wrong side of Beauty and the Beast in here.
not good.
Be our guest.
Be our guest.
Yeah, be our guest indeed.
Be our guest. That's not good. I didn't roll good on
Oh, I
initiative.
didn't roll good either.
Neither did I.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I've ever come across a living oven before.
Mm-hmm.
I hope these are awakened. Just for fun.
The description sounds very like Studio Ghibli.
I've never seen a Studio Ghibli.
What?
What?
Any?
Nope.
Oh my god, I feel like you
Thank
vibe
you.
so hard with Spirited Away.
Someone else.
Listen, all I'm saying is, how can you know for certain if you're a queer person if you haven't watched Howl's Moving Castle?
Okay, but like for real though? Listen,
I feel like I know that. Just
I want to be Howl. Like that is how I know I'm non-binary. It's like that's the energy I wish to exude.
Yeah.
And
With
also,
high-waisted
that's
pants
tea.
and like a billowy like white shirt. Like that's it.
Yeah,
That's the look.
like you're right.
That's the look B.
You're
That's
not
the
wrong.
look B.
You're not wrong.
all right, initiative. Let's go. 25 to 20. 20 to 15. 15 to 10.
10.
and
All right. Want to know something funny?
What?
You two go first. Everything. No one is
Oh
ready.
my
No, there's
God.
just like a moment where like the oven comes to life, the knives stand up, the table gets up, and like they all look in a direction, like trying to figure out what's going on. You're like, moving furniture, and everyone just freezes for a second, and then you two are like, oh right, yeah, fighting. Sorry, who was it? Was Ilvim and who's the second?
Drew.
Okay. All right, 10 to 5.
5.
8.
Okay.
So good, guys.
We're doing some great rolls.
I'm so proud of us.
It's a big old 8.
Okay. Ilvin, Drew, you go first. So Drew, you are right next to this oven, which just torched you a little. And Ilvim, you're in the back of the room, and you can see the oven and the table appear to be the biggest threats. It looks like there's knives starting to stand up, but it is a small fraction of the number of cooking knives scattered across this room.
Okay. I'm gonna yell over to Drew and be like, hey, maybe like duck away from the fire. And you can have an inspiration.
I like
Don't
that
be
as
sick.
inspiration. Hey, maybe try not getting hit.
And then I'm gonna Eldritch Blast the table.
Okay.
The
Go ahead and roll it.
tableau, if you will. It's a lot. It's I don't know how to do math. It's 19.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay.
2 + 2 = 4. Quick
It's
math.
1 point of force damage.
Okay. All right, so you blast the table with 1 point of force damage. The Eldritch Blast flies over and like chips off a little bit of it. It's like a very nice dining room table. It's got a lot of like intricate carving and woodworking around the outside. So you manage to like chip off part of that, breaking off some of the varnish and exposing the wood underneath. But for the most part, yeah, that table is
It's
looking
got an
fine.
anti-magic polish on it. Be careful.
And Drusilla, or yeah, it was your turn. Drusilla.
Wow. Her entire strategy of Thorn Whip it close and then Heat Metal is kind of useless right now. Shit. How close would you say it is to her like melee range?
Oh yeah, you are right. You were like sticking your head in it when it like spewed fire at you.
I'm gonna give it a good old thunderclap.
Okay, that's a
So I
Constitution save.
Yeah.
All right. Got a 4.
Yeah, DC 14.
Nice.
Must be nice to have a high spell DC.
2 points.
Points to the oven?
2
All
points
right.
of force.
Okay. So just blast it back and it like staggers back for a second. You see like you've chipped off some of the mortar and like chipped a couple of the bricks, but for the most part it looks like it's still doing okay. Anything else with your bonus action?
No, I'm just gonna stay right in front of it
Okay.
and be the tank.
Yeah, it appears that it's got like countertops on either side of it, so it can pretty much only move forward.
And I'm gonna stand right in front of it.
Okay. That'll bring us to Hannah Montanable.
Jeez, okay.
Oh yeah. Everything rolled real terrible.
I'm
Table
gonna,
got an 8, the oven got a 3, the knives got a 6.
I'm gonna raise my
Love it.
gloved hand up towards the oven and then ring an invisible bell, and it needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, it's real good at wisdom. Real good.
My DC is really shit.
It got a 0.
Oh, and it's taking damage, right? Correct.
It has, yeah.
Okay, so that's a D12 necrotic damage.
When I said it was real good at wisdom, I meant it has a -4 modifier.
Okay, so ding-a-ling-a-ling, and that's
Just like me in real life.
8 necrotic damage.
Okay. So you ring the spectral bell, and like you can just see like it just start to age slightly, like the bricks just start to crack around it and just start to wear away, just like it's been, used but not like maintained for years.
Heck yeah. And then bonus action. I'm not gonna do a bonus action. I'm just gonna get right up on the oven and then get ready to start beating it with my hammer next time.
Okay, so you move up next to Drew.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that'll bring us to the table. The table, like you can see, its whole its whole structure has become like fluid and movable, basically. So it like bends in half as it rears up, and it's the front legs like do this, and then it charges forward at, let's see, Ilvem or Sid, one of the two. Ilvem.
Table.
So table's coming charging at you.
The table's a horse girl.
As a 23 to hit.
That'll
Can
hit.
you say something?
Okay.
Ilvem gets like decked by this table.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you don't insult the horse girls.
And then because it charged, it does extra damage.
Great.
Is Ilvin within 5 feet of me?
Yes, you are both at the doorway.
Sentinel.
All right. That is 25 points of bludgeoning damage from the charge.
Okay.
As it just like gallops forward and just the edge of the table just hits you in the ribs. And I need a strength saving throw, please.
Oh, I see what's happening here. Nice.
10.
All right. You are also knocked prone. So it charges forward and just knocks you flat on your ass.
Okay. It takes 10 points of cold damage.
All right.
I love the
As you-
charge feat.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it charges into you and it hits you like right at rib level, but you've got all this ice covering you. The ice shatters off of you, but then like hangs in the air for a second and then just pelts into its surface, and you can just see these little shards of ice just stab into it all the way down its length. And then I believe that is an attack opportunity from Sid.
Yes. Oh, that's not good. That's 9.
9 does not hit.
Okay. I try to punch it, but it's
Yeah.
just, it's too much.
It's moving. You misjudge how fast it's moving. You try to like intercept it, but by the time you swing, it's like already knocked Ilvem to the ground. Oh,
If Ilvem
right.
dies by a table, that would be
Pretty iconic.
Oh boy.
All right.
Good thing Sid got the healy wheelies.
Mhm.
I got the healy wheelies, baby.
Next up, you
See?
see 2 knives, like a kitchen knife and a cleaver, just like fly up into the air, and then one is gonna, and they like hurl themselves, like spinning through the air. One at Drew, one at Hannibal.
I like knife play.
I want to kill myself.
It's a 21 on Hannibal
I want to as soon as I said that joke.
Yes.
That definitely hits.
and 7 on Drusilla.
7 does not hit.
All right, Hannibal, you take 4 points of piercing damage as like the butcher knife basically just comes up behind you and just like stabs itself into you and then pulls back.
If everyone wants to just forget that joke I made, it's okay with me.
I am trying.
Do I take psychic damage from that joke?
That joke lives on the internet forever.
It does.
And
All right, and then at
recap.
the end of the knives turn. So, Sid, you get a table right next to you that just knocked Ilvem over.
Oh.
And then you've got Hannibal and Drew over by a stove being flanked by knives.
Fantastic. I would love to. I'm still thinking about that joke. It's just, it's there now. It's in my head now. I would like to go grab my spear if that is possible.
Yep, it's still sticking out of the side of the oven, so you can like hop up and run along the counter and then just yank it out.
Sick. Could I?
Although if you do, the table is going to get an attack of opportunity on you.
That's okay.
It's just
Okay.
a table.
I will allow that.
All right. It got a 10.
That will probably miss. What's my AC again? Yes.
I think it's above a 10.
Excellent.
Otherwise, we
Okay.
should talk about how you built your monk.
um,
It so it like rears up and just like swings sideways. It's as if someone is swinging an entire table at you, but the table is the one doing it. But you like jump up onto the surface of the table and like use it as a springboard to get over onto the counter.
Love it. Can I grab my spear and then can I get on top of the oven?
Yes, you can. There are actually rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide for hopping on top of creatures that are larger than you and staying on them. Basically, give me an acrobatics check contested by its acrobatics check. The inverse of a
Ooh, baby.
it's the inverse of a
baby.
grapple. It got a 3.
Yeah, 23.
Okay, so you jump up on top of it. So it's kind of got like a curved top to it. So you basically just got one foot on either side of like the arched top of it, and you are like balancing as it tries to move around, and you have advantage on all attack rolls against it.
Sick. And then I'm gonna swing at it with my spear and then hit it with my unarmed.
All right, go ahead and roll.
And you said advantage, right?
Yep, advantage because you're on it.
Sick. Thank God. Roll better than a 1. Okay, I'll take that. 17 for
That
the
does
first
it.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. 6, 7, 8. That's 9 for the spear.
Okay, so you stab down into it and like chip away, like chip an entire brick off of it.
Hell yeah. That's 12 for the unarmed.
That does not hit. So you like
Okay.
stab into it and chip off the brick, and you lean down your hand and just punch, and it's like punching a brick wall. Like you just. All right, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, the oven's turn. The oven does not like. The oven was going after Drusilla and Hannibal, but then like you landed on top of it, and it does not like that. So it's basically going to try and use its slam attack to like smack you into the wall behind it.
Nice.
So it gets a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right, for 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oof.
But you manage to keep your footing as it basically just like smacks, like slams your back into the wall, but you manage to like keep your footing on it as it focused on damage, not getting you off. And that'll be its turn. So up to the top of the order with Ilvem.
Great. I'm super excited for this.
Prone with a table over you.
I am going to just like let out a string of curse words in Celestial, and cast Hex as a bonus action on it.
Okay. What ability score are you hexing?
I don't remember how this spell works.
So the way the spell works, you pick an ability score. It has disadvantage on checks, not saves, with that ability score. So like athletics checks, acrobatics checks, that kind of thing. And then every attack you do deals an extra d6 of damage to it.
Great. It's going to be just like strength checks.
Okay.
And then I am going to sword burst.
Okay. So it needs to make a dexterity saving throw?
Yes.
All right. It got a 4.
Haha. It's gonna take damage.
Mm-hmm.
It's D6. Okay, it's 3 force damage
Mm-hmm.
and 4 necrotic damage.
Okay, so 7 total.
Yeah.
All right. And are you gonna stay prone, or would you like to stand up?
I'll stand up.
Okay. So you sword burst, and like all of these spectral, shining rainbow swords. I'm guessing matching your halo.
Yes.
Burst outward from you and like several stab up into the underside of it, and then you can see like the necrotic energy of the hex like from the points of impact just like seep out of the swords into it and age the wood like it's rotting away, and it like knocks it back, giving you a second to push yourself up to your feet. And that was action, bonus action, and any other movement, or is that your turn?
Nope, that's my turn.
All right, Drusilla.
Sid going on the oven really kind of fucked up my plan. So plan B.
I'm so sorry.
How far away is the table?
The table is probably about 20 feet away from you by the door with Ilvin.
I'm gonna thorn whip it and try and get away from Ilvin.
Okay.
Just it is a 15.
That does hit.
Awesome. Is it large or smaller?
It is large.
Then it is pulled 10 feet towards me.
Okay. So Ilva, you can see the table like rearing up for another attack, but then Thornwhip wraps around with its back legs and yanks it towards her, and it just slides along the floor. You know the sound a table makes when you like push it along the like a wood floor? It makes that sound.
Beautiful, because it takes 5 damage.
Okay. As the Thornwhip unwraps around the leg, it just like chips along the wood and just shreds one of those legs and flails up into the underside of it as well.
Great, I really hope it doesn't have enough room to charge me again.
Maybe just duck out of the way.
I'll try that, thank you.
All right. Is anything else for Drusilla's turn?
If I move to put myself in front of the table.
That would be an attack of opportunity from the knife behind you and the oven in front of you.
Come on, Tank.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
All right. Attack of opportunity. The meat cleaver behind you is going to take a swing.
Fucking bring it.
19.
Oh yeah.
Stab and then just
3 points of piercing damage.
We still up, bitches.
And then the oven's turn.
natural 20, why not?
Oh shh.
Not quite, but a 24
Ooh. Yeah, that hits.
Oof.
for 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
We still standing.
Okay. And then, sorry, Drew,
Airly.
you move over in front of the table.
Yes.
You can see it,
Question.
like the table legs are like doing this on the ground.
So it was a knife and then the oven that attacked Drew.
Yeah.
Question: do opportunity attacks from creatures trigger my sentinel?
That is a good question. Let me double check.
Because it says when a creature within 5 feet of me targets someone who's not me.
Let me double check real quick. Does it say make an attack against a target other than you? That target doesn't have this feat. I'm gonna go with yes for now. I'll double check that later, but for now I'll say yes.
Sick. Okay, cool. So definitely the oven. Is the knife within 5 feet of me?
No, that was
Okay.
behind Drew.
Got it. So oven.
And advantage just because you're still on top of it.
Bless. That is a nat 20.
Nice. All right. So double damage. Either roll twice or roll once and double it.
Woof. That is 11 smacky damage.
All right. The oven is starting to look less than great. You knock a couple of bricks off it with that one. You see its structure is starting to crack a little. And Drew, that is still your turn. So you've moved. You're in front of the table. Now what?
Yeah. That's it.
Did you have an action?
Yeah, my action was to thorn whip it.
Oh,
close.
that's right. You did. Yeah, then you moved. That's right. Okay, so you're there. All right, Hannibal.
This...
Yeah, Sid's got this handle on top of the oven, so I'm not gonna move.
Okay.
But I'm gonna throw a firebolt at the table. Just firebolt.
That will be a disadvantage because you have
okay.
Enemies near you.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I rolled decent. A 15 to hit.
That does hit.
For 5 points of fire damage.
Okay. Yeah, you throw this firebolt at it and it like skips across the surface and just leaves a scorch mark along the wood. You can see the finish like bubble up on top of it as the like leave this blackened streak across the
Excellent.
top.
Who's looking the most hurt? How's Ilvum looking?
I have 4 hit points.
Ilvum's looking.
I'm sorry, you what?
Like not great, but not as bad as Drew's
Oh my
looking.
God.
Okay, I'll cast Healing Word as a bonus action on Drew.
Okay.
So Drew
Please
gets...
stop trying to be the tank.
I think I actually have the most hit points.
I mean, you have the capacity to have the most hit points.
Drew gets 5 points of healing.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not a lot, but that's Healing
That, like,
Word.
double the amount I had.
God.
And then...
Our druid that never wild shapes.
Yeah, I'll end my turn right there.
I have
Okay.
wild shaped before.
That's true. You have just like not a lot in combat, which
It's fun.
You wanna be the tank. What? I know.
But yeah, that's my turn.
I know it's less good when you're not circling. Okay, table's turn. Yeah, it is gonna rear up and just like lay the smack down on Drusilla.
Fucking bring it, big boy.
21.
Oh yeah.
Big boy brought it.
Big boy brought it.
19 points of
there goes my
bludgeoning
Healing
damage.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew's out.
And Drusilla like runs up in front of this thing and is like, bring it.
Oh
Bam!
my God.
Unconscious.
Oh my God.
Well, I tried healing.
Preventing it from charging.
All right, it's the table's turn. Knives out. Both of them against Hannibal.
Like I said before. Not saying it again.
No, yeah. 18
That
for
definitely
one
hits.
and 10 for the other.
10
Yep.
misses.
So one hit?
Yep.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Artificer, I don't...
For 4 points of piercing damage.
Nice. There's no point for me using Mage Armor because it wouldn't make a difference.
All right, and that's the knife. So, Sid.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Still on top of the oven.
How far away is Drew?
Drew is about 20 feet away from you.
I'm vibing. Don't worry about me.
Right in front of Ilva.
Okay. All right. I'm going to keep attacking the oven then.
Okay, roll with advantage.
Yeah. 24.
Oh yeah, that hits.
7 points for the first one.
Okay. Really not looking good.
Another
Yes.
24. And 5 for the second one.
Well, this thing is looking absolutely terrible. Like you stab down at it, you chip off some bricks. This time, it's like wait a minute. I gotta stop thinking about this as a creature. I've practiced like punching into stacks of bricks before.
Mm-hmm.
So, shifting your mindset, you lean down, you focus, and you just punch downward. And Hannibal standing in front of it, you can just see a crack from the very top of it, just all the way down, just a whole line of bricks, almost splitting this thing in half. But there's enough mortar still holding it together, but you can see it's like starting to fall apart.
Bless.
Nice.
And Drusilla, death saving throw.
18.
All right, one success.
Oof.
Hannibal, you're up.
What? Oh, wait, yeah.
Did we miss
I am, that's
Ilva?
right.
Oh, sorry, Ilvam, yes.
Ilva goes before Drew.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
You're right. Oh, wait,
Wow.
I skipped the oven's turn too. Never mind. Hang on. I was on. That's right, because
The oven explodes in a moat of fire.
Fuck twink lives, I guess.
Well, Drew, we'll keep the death saving throw, but the oven's turn.
Okay.
It's going to try and attack Sid for that punch.
Makes
Do
sense.
it.
That is an 18,
That'll hit.
and that is going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oof.
Is Hannibal look the best here?
Possibly, as it like slams you up into the wall, and you can see like the plaster behind it like cracks and splinters off, and you can see the mechanical parts behind it.
Oof.
And at the end of its turn, you can see the actual flame of it, like it after it like blew the fire it drew, it had kind of died down. You can see the fire flare back into life as it recharges its fire belch.
Great.
Making it Ilvim's turn.
Okay. I am going to just kind of like lean over Drew
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "You did good, kid," and cast Healing Word as a bonus action.
Okay.
It is sweet heal.
6 points of healing.
So I take that back. No death saving throw. You will be taking a turn.
Sick.
You go after Ilvim.
And then I'm just gonna point my finger at this stupid table and cast Eldritch Blast.
All right, roll it.
Oh, that's great. 23.
Yeah, that hits.
10 points of force damage and 1 point of necrotic damage.
Nice. This table is also looking absolutely terrible. It's like reared up and you hit it right in the center, and you can see that just sends the wood just begins to split and splinter as you blast a hole straight through it, and you can actually see the ceiling as it rears up and it comes back down. You can see that like one of the legs is hanging at a weird angle, and this thing is falling apart. And then that'll bring it to Drew's turn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you are conscious. You're on the floor as you see this blast just go right through the table and see it falling apart directly in front of you.
Hell yeah. A half movement to stand up.
Okay.
How close are the knives to the table?
They're a good distance away. The knives are like back over across the room where you were, and the table is more in the middle of the room.
Like in feet.
The knives are probably about 10 feet from the table.
So you could say they would be 15 feet from me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna thunder wave.
Okay.
Okay.
Con saves from knives and
the
table.
if I can.
All right. Knife number 1, nat 20. Knife number 2, 6. Table,
Failed.
2.
Fail.
All right. Roll that damage.
Hell yeah. 9 thunder damage.
9 thunder damage.
Yeah.
And then everything that failed the save is pushed away from you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
10 feet away.
So the table, you reach up, you just let out this blast of thunder in front of you. Like you stand up and bring it up into the underside of the table. The table just gets launched up into the ceiling because you're coming up from underneath it. And it hits the ceiling and just shatters into pieces, and splinters of wood just rain down over the room like a table leg just goes clunk, clunk, clunk across the floor. The force then continues past the table, hits the 2 knives. One of them manages to stay floating in the air. The other one goes spinning off and it hits the wall, bounces off, and you can see that it's got chipped edges now and it's warped at a weird angle, but that knife is still holding together, but barely. Anything else with the bonus action?
We're gonna stay here.
Okay. And that'll make it Hannibal's turn.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to spin around and bring my hammer down on the oven.
Okay. Roll the attack.
Yeet. Oh, that's not great. 13.
That does not hit.
Okay, so offhand sickle.
Okay.
23.
That does hit. Roll the damage, no modifier.
Yep. 2 slashing.
That is exactly what you needed.
Yeah!
It had 2 health left. So
Love it.
it was like Sid was like stabbing into it, knocking bricks off, and then brings this punch down, just sends this crack all the way down the oven. You swing with your hammer, but it just glances off. You swing your sickle in and basically sink it directly into the crack. You just fit it like up to the handle in that crack, and you just twist and like use it like a lever and pull to the side, and the crack widens, and you just split it in half, and then it just collapses into a pile of bricks, and like embers shoot out the mouth as the top of it collapses into the fire and douses it. And Sid just kind of like manages to keep, fancy feet all the way down as it just collapses into like a loose pile of bricks and is just standing on top of that pile.
Wicked. That's my turn.
Okay, it would be the table's turn, but the table is obliterated, bringing us to the knives.
Bring it.
Which the one by Hannibal is going to once again attack Hannibal for a
It's
10.
behind him, yeah?
10 does not hit.
All right, and then the other one that got knocked into the wall is going to take advantage of its distance and come spinning around in an arc over towards Sid for a 14.
That'll miss.
Okay, so yeah, you see it coming and just like bat it out of the way with your spear as it knocks the side, skirts off the wall, and then comes to hover in front of you.
Sick.
Bringing us to Sid.
I will attack that there knife.
Okay.
That is 15.
That does not hit. It's really
Oh.
small and tiny, so you're like trying to stab at a knife with a spear, but it's just darting and dodging out of the way.
Okay, cool. Offhand.
Mhm.
That is an unnatural 20.
That does hit.
Sick. That is 5 damage.
Okay. You punch a knife. And it goes like spinning up into the air and comes back down. You can see the handle is hanging a little loose now, but it is still up. And it would be the oven's turn, but it is a pile of bricks, so Ilvim.
Great. I will move my hex because the table got obliterated to the knife that's currently around Sid.
Okay.
And then I'll just kind of like point at it and cast Sacred Flame.
Okay, that is a dex save.
Yes.
Got a 4.
Is Ilva back to step up?
Yeah. 2 points of radiant and 2 points of necrotic.
That is just barely enough. So yeah, you can see like it's a weird radiant and necrotic damage at the same time is a weird juxtaposition. It's like you can see like light shine on it from one side, and the metal just starts to like heat up and like heat tarnish. But then from the other side, like the side of it's in shadow, it like starts to just rust and age as that necrotic hits it from the other side, and then the two meet in the middle, and it just crumples between the two opposing forces and just falls to the ground.
Sick.
Leaving us with just one left, and Drew's turn.
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's time for a
One whole heckin' yap.
heckin' yaps. Move up to it and then give it
Okay.
a yap. At the quarter staff. Where is that? Natural 20.
Okay. Roll that.
Nice.
2.
It is 2 with your strength modifier?
I don't have one of those.
Do you have the cantrip Shillelagh?
No.
Okay.
Good.
You should probably get that.
Yeah, well, we haven't leveled up yet.
Okay, all right.
So-
Yeah, fair. It's coming, don't worry. All right. So it is still up with 1 hit point left.
Oh my god.
Hannibal, it's your turn with the knife behind you, barely holding together. She just like comes over and whacks it perfectly, like right in the middle, but just with not a lot of force, and it just sends it just spinning, like rotating in midair, and it's just like spinning like a roulette wheel, just in midair right next to you.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Wisdom saving throw.
All right, you got an 8.
That's a fail. It takes 9 points of necrotic damage.
All right, it's just spinning in the air, and as it's spinning, you can just see like orange, like rust-colored dust just start coming off of it as it rotates in the air and just like spins off of it like a water wheel, just spraying rust into the air. And then like when it finally stops, it's like just a wooden handle, and then just drops to the ground.
Love it.
And that is the end of that encounter, and the door opens up across from you.
Bless. How's everyone looking?
Not great.
I'm
Not
looking
great.
pretty good.
I'm at
And it was looking great.
10 hit points.
16 of 24.
I'm at 12.
6.
Well, good thing we have healing potions. Yes, still.
Yeah. Who has healing potions? Who
I
needs
gave
heals?
2 of mine to Drusilla and
me.
No,
Yeah.
you gave. I was given 2 healing potions at the thing. When we short rested.
I gave mine
Right.
to whoever I knocked out with my fireball.
Okay. I have 1 and I don't have any more hit dice. So, Drew, do you have a healy wheelie?
I can heal myself if it comes to it.
I have a hit dice if we take a rest, but also 2 spell slots for healing.
Okay. Well, we can take a rest if you want.
Cool beans.
Okay, is he taking another short rest?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. You take a second and short rest, so roll your hit dice.
I'm going to do another Artificer hit dice and not Wizard hit dice.
Okay.
I'm like, I want to use my healing potion, but at the same time, that costs money.
Ooh. I'm back at full.
Nice.
Sick.
I'm at close enough to full to feel good about it.
Stabilize. I'm gonna down my healing potion.
Oh, Sam, would my crowbar still be on the floor after the room changed back from the ballista?
Oh, that one. Yeah, you could have picked that up.
Yep. Pick that back up for catapult purposes.
That happened, yeah.
I'm at 16 hit points now.
24. Bam.
I was
have
wrong.
to fall.
I was wrong. I have 4 slots
Okay,
to heal
cool.
with.
Cool beans. I still have all my keys, so when in doubt, patient defense.
I am once again the tank.
God, we are so squishy, guys. Oh my god. We're so squishy. Why are we
We're
like
like-
this?
I think we're pretty tough overall.
Yeah.
Caster
Like, has
party.
any of us died?
Yeah, like
Ca-
nobody's died.
Definitely caster party. All right. Would you like to move on?
Yes.
Yes.
Cautiously. What with the make sure no traps?
Okay. You make your way forward. This hallway is pretty short, and you realize that actually the kitchen got very warm with like all the fire being spewed everywhere and an oven being on. But as you go through this shorter hallway, it kind of like goes in a almost like lightning bolt pattern, like forward, right, and then forward again. Right around the middle, you feel the temperature start to shift, like it cools off as you get farther away from the heat of the oven, and then it continues cooling off until like you realize you can all see your breath.
So
And then you come in.
We're gonna get fucked up by a fridge.
Question for Hannibal then.
Yeah.
I believe because of Triton.
You do you have resistance to cold damage?
I think I do. I don't know where to find that on the app though.
Let me pull up races here to see if I can find it quickly.
So I believe Tritons are resistant to cold.
Let
I could be
me
wrong.
see.
I don't think so.
Let me see.
Yes, I'm resistant to cold because of Guardian of the Depths is a Triton.
Yep. And drawbacks. But yeah. Okay. So you ever? Yeah. So you like, which is especially strange because like you were raised in a tropical jungle.
Yeah.
So like you come into this area and like you know everyone you can see your breath and everything, but like it does not bother you. It actually feels kind of nice, and you like your childhood may have actually been kind of uncomfortable because you're more suited to like cold ocean currents.
Yeah.
And you just like grew up and got acclimated to just the hot jungle. But then you come into here and like, oh, this is really nice.
Everyone, this is so comfortable.
I don't actually know that Hannibal. Yeah, Hannibal probably hasn't actually experienced that much cold weather.
This is wonderful, you guys. Oh, this is so comfortable.
All right, and you come into this next room, and as you enter the room, you can see there's like a thin layer of shimmering frost.
Excellent.
Across the floor. There is a circular, like two concentric circular platforms, almost like one step and then a second step up to the middle. Around the outer step, you can see just like large, almost like glacier-like blocks of not glacier size, like probably a couple feet in diameter and like 5 or 6 feet tall, just like jetting just blocks of ice, like all come to like around a point. You can see shadowy like shapes kind of inside the ice. Some small, some large, hard to tell exactly. None are terribly big. And it's hard to tell where they are because the ice is a little bit cloudy. And then in the four corners of the room, you can actually see basically the room itself is coated in frost and ice, but in the four corners of the room, you can see where the mechanical nature of the room kind of pokes through, and you can see what almost looks like parts of a furnace in each of the four corners of the room, heating those corners, and where there's basically a 10-foot by or like a 10-foot radius section in each corner where the ice is just melted, and you can see like a heat shimmer and like almost steam where the hot air and cold air are meeting. And then in the dead center of the room, right in the middle of the circular platform in the center, you can see what appears to be a staff sitting in the middle of the room, just like on its end, with ice crystal-like protrusions coming off the top. And as you come into the room, the staff itself floats up into the air and starts spinning around and then points in your direction. And I believe that is time for initiative. You do not see a door. You do not see a door beyond this.
Good thing I have cold resistance.
Oh, I want that staff.
Oh, that's not good.
I didn't roll good again either.
Why am I rolling such hot garbage on initiative today? Yikes.
Yeah, that was not good.
All right. So 25 to 20. 20 to 15.
19.
Okay.
Carry the party.
15 to 10.
I love it.
10.
Bringing up the rear, baby.
And then what did Sid get?
6.
Nice. Okay. So, Ilvem, you go first. You can see the ground is covered in frost and ice. It looks like, basically, I'll just tell you what this is going to look like. You can move it at full speed, but if you move at full speed, you will need to make an acrobatics check to avoid falling prone at the end of your movement, or you can move at half speed and not worry about it.
Okay. I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay. And sorry, it is 30 feet to the center of the room.
And I will cast Hex again for strength checks. And then just a little sacred flame, I believe.
So dexterity saving throw?
Yes.
All right. It got a 4. Sorry, 5.
Nice.
6 points of radiant damage and 4 points of necrotic damage.
So you can see that, the like radiant damage, you can see just like melt a little bit of the ice-like protrusions on it, and the necrotic comes up from the bottom, and you can see that just tarnishing color coming up from along the metal of the staff. Anything? And that was your action, bonus action, no movement. All right. Anything else?
I'm gonna move.
Okay.
I'm gonna like full speed to like the halfway mark.
50 feet.
50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. 50 feet. arc, but like at a diagonal towards one of the adjacent walls, you know? Like I don't want to be in the corner of the room. I want to be like in the middle of like the
Okay,
right hand
so yeah.
wall.
Off to your right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, Ilvim, so you said full speed, so give me the acrobatics check.
That's cocked. Which sucks because it probably would have worked. Okay, well, that could be better. Acrobatics.
13, you just make it. So you're like running, your feet are like slipping out from underneath you, and you have to like put a hand down a few times. But you manage to like come sliding into the other side of the room and right yourself, and you come up standing.
Yeah. That'll be my turn.
All right, so you're in between the two corners, you said. All right. The staff is gonna go. So it swings itself in the air, and you can see the protrusion on top of it light up, and everyone's still standing by the entrance. I need you to make dexterity saving throws as it casts.
I knew it. I knew that was gonna happen, which is why I booked it.
At 20, baby.
Bring it.
I want this staff.
Nat 20, baby.
Nat 1.
Ooh.
Ice Storm is such a sexy spell,
It
though.
is. It's so good.
14.
14. Okay, so everyone that beat a 12, you take half damage.
Sick.
Not me.
All right.
It's a Nat 1.
I know.
I actually still take half though because cold resistance.
Well, you'll take half the cold.
Yes.
So first of all,
No, half the cold.
it's because it does. First, Hannibal, you take 9 bludgeoning damage, as basically it just summons a storm cloud above you, and a just hail of ice just slams down in this 20-foot radius. So everyone just gets pelted by hailstones, basically. So it's 9 bludgeoning damage. So if you succeeded, you take 4. If you failed, you take 9.
Yep.
Then for the cold damage,
I used to get to half this.
yes, you do. Everyone takes, after reduction, 8 points of cold damage.
Whew, that would have put me unconscious if I wasn't cold resistant.
Mm-hmm.
It was not looking good.
And the staff will stay in the center of the room, making it Drew's turn.
I'm at 4.
And the area is currently difficult terrain, so it's half movement regardless.
I love this staff. I want it. But did I hear you say that the staff was metal?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, heat metal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, baby.
All right. So no saving throw. It just heats up.
Carry the party.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it D&D Beyond? Come on. Where's my spells? Spells. It is
7 hit points.
8. 16 fire damage.
16 fire damage. All right. Is
Max
it? Yeah.
damage, baby.
You can see all the metal parts of it just glow orange all of a sudden, and the ice just starts to melt off the top of it, and it like starts flailing around in the air trying to like cool itself off, but it just can't do it. All right. Anything else?
I'm gonna move as far as my movement will allow me to the opposite side of the room as Elvum.
Okay. So you're moving full speed, but halved because of difficult terrain, so you can make it 15 feet and still acrobatics check at the end.
Natural 1.
Don't jinx
Stop.
Justin.
Justin.
It's a 13.
Still, again, just make it.
Cool.
Love
So you
it.
come like sliding into the like half way to the other wall. You basically get just out or almost outside of the radius of this ice storm, and like where it's still a little extra frosty and hard to move.
Drew's not having a good time. She's barefoot.
Ilvum
yeah.
like puts the 2 thumbs up.
Basically what happened was after the ice storm, like all the hailstones like stuck into the ground. So you've got like ice, but then there's just like rough hailstones all over it. So like you keep like hitting your feet against them, and like it's rough and also icy.
And she's barefoot.
And that'll bring us to Hannibal. Yep.
Hannibal is gonna not look so great because he's at 7 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
And remembering what his siblings said, he's gonna pull out the wand and aim it at the
Okay.
staff and use the last charge for the day.
Okay. I will tell you that Drusilla is within fireball range of the staff currently.
What if I aim at the ceiling?
If you aim it at the ceiling, then If it's a lightning bolt, it'll miss, but the fireball would hit.
Okay. That's all.
Although, okay, actually, I'll tell you, if you aim past it, like, then like the lightning bolt would hit it because it would be in a line, but the fireball would go past it and would explode off the back wall. So there is a way you could that either way you could hit.
All right, let's do one that would either way would hit, but not hit Drew.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's evens. So that would be.
I think that's the lightning bolt.
Yes. So.
Okay. So yeah, bolt of green lightning erupts out from the staff, and it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yep, against my spell DC.
It got a 12.
That's the DC.
Oh, sorry, 13.
No, beats the DC.
Okay.
So it's
half damage.
Half of 8d6, right? Lightning bolt's 8d6. Yeah. I should add these spells to my spell list just to be safe.
Well, you used the last charge, so we'll see.
Oh, that's right.
Oh god. Are you gonna blow the fuck up?
I hope so. Just that'd be fun. Oh, I rolled real good.
All right, what'd you get for damage?
Fuck it up. Fuck it up.
41 lightning damage.
Wow.
Oof.
Reduced to half.
20.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Love that.
you like you're holding on to it, and like you can feel like kickback from the wand as it like nearly flies out of your hands. Your feet like slide a little back in the ice as this column of lightning shoots out of it. It manages to get out of the way, but like just arcing lightning off of the beam, like strikes into it, and it hits the other side of the room, and you can just see ice is just blasted off the wall on the other side of the room. And
what about the wand?
Roll a d20.
1-1.
What'd you roll?
Natural 1.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
All right, so you do that, and as you do, the wand just crumbles into dust from the power of that. It was only a nat 1 that would cause it to be destroyed. Anything else, it would stay intact.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I want the staff now.
It's mine.
The staff looks terrible, by the way.
Mine. I already placed dibs on it.
Bonus action. Healing word on Sid.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Ooh, that's not good. 4 points of healing.
Hey, baby, now I'm at 8.
One more.
All right.
That's my turn.
Sid's turn.
Woo. Okay. How far away is the
30
staff
feet.
from me?
Right in the middle of the room.
Okay, 30 feet. Double checking something real quick. Fantastic.
Although 20 feet of that is difficult terrain.
Okay. Can I move?
Ow.
Can I move 10 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Towards it? Can I toss my spear?
Yes. And if you're just
Sick.
moving 10 feet, you can like shuffle along and move slowly, and you don't have to worry about the acrobatics check.
Okay, cool.
You move carefully, move up, and then just launch the spear at it.
Baller. Oh, no. Just no. I rolled a 2. No.
Skitters
No.
across the ice on the other side of it.
Okay, I would like to bonus action summon my arms.
Okay.
So I have those bad boys now, and then I have 30 feet of movement left.
Well, the 10 feet of movement would have taken you 20 of your feet of movement because it's difficult terrain.
So I have 20 feet left, which means I can move another 10 feet.
Yep.
Okay, rad. I will move 10 feet closer.
Okay, so then that will be using your full movement, so I will need the acrobatics check.
Let's do it. Oh god, what is my acrobatics? That's an unnatural 20.
All right, you're absolutely fine. You make your way forward, and it's like you're walking on solid ground, and you're outside the difficult terrain.
Sick.
Ilvam, you're up.
Great. That worked really well for me last time, so we're going to Sacred Flame it again.
All right. Dexterity saving throw. It got a 14.
I think that saves. It do in fact save.
Okay. All right. So, anything with bonus action?
I will bonus action healing word Hannibal.
Woo!
Okay. Oh,
5 points of healing.
Thank you, Evan.
You're welcome. I'm sorry about your wand.
It's fine. It's probably for the best. Now I'm at half
Okay.
points.
so it is going. So then that's the staff's turn. It is gonna fly off the platform in the middle and move over, basically right in front, like 10 feet in front of Drew.
Oh fuck.
Not me.
Why me?
Because
Why
as
me?
it flies in front of you, you turn around, you notice that like Sid and Hannibal are in a almost perfect cone pattern right behind you from this angle.
Ah,
no.
fuck.
I'm
So
keeping track of that
Hannibal's,
down here.
Hannibal lets out a sigh as it flies over towards Drew. Oh boy. Oh.
And yeah, I'm gonna need dexterity saving throws
And then
from
shit.
Sid, Hannibal, and Drusilla.
Ooh, nice.
Mm.
17.
That saves.
Okay, well, hopefully Hannibal doesn't go down.
I should be
Unnatural
fine.
20.
That's an
Dirty
11.
Ooh, just fails.
I'd
Yep.
basically
Bye, guys.
half anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bye, guys. Let's hope this
And
doesn't
what Drew get?
insta-kill me.
Dirty 20.
Okay, so anyone that got over a 12 makes it.
Yeah, I got 17.
I don't make it.
All
Let's
right.
hope this doesn't insta-kill
As
me.
it unleashes a cone of cold.
That is such a
So
brutal
I would
spell.
also half what I could take from the half damage, correct? 'Cause
Yes,
it was
you
fuck yeah.
you take half of half. So yeah. So full damage for Sid is 33 cold damage.
I have to do some math real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Fuck. Shit. Cone of cold is
Okay,
scary.
it didn't insta-kill me. We're fine.
Okay.
But I am down.
Yep. Half of that is 16 for Drew.
I'm down.
Ooh.
Okay. And then half of that is 8 for Hannibal.
Heck yeah. I am barely up. I'm at 4
Mhm.
hit points. Ugh.
Yep. And Hannibal, you would imagine that being that it's a staff, it's probably expending its own charges to do that. It probably doesn't. It probably can't do that again.
Thank God. On
All
the bright
right.
side, Ilvamet probably can't do that again.
Oh, great. I'm glad we're looking at the positives here.
All right. So that will make it Drew's turn. Death saving throw.
Well,
I don't
I
have any
guess
more
no more
spells,
heat
so I'll
metal.
sneeze
No more heat metal. 18.
All right. One success. That'll make it Hannibal's turn.
Firebolt.
Okay.
Because I have no more spell slots.
Roll the attack.
Natural 1.
Miss.
Oh.
You do have.
Throw that dice away.
Yeah,
You do. I will tell you. You do have. I'm pretty sure everyone has a potion on them, so you could.
I don't. I gave mine to Sid and Drusilla.
I know they have potions on
Oh.
them though.
Correct.
I consumed
don't.
my potion.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you drink yours?
Yeah, and Sid, I
Yeah.
think Sid
Okay.
did too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
potionless.
I'll use my full movement and get over to Drew. Try to get over to Drew.
Okay. The difficult terrain ended and faded away, so you can make it to Drusilla by using half your movement. You don't have to worry about
Cool.
not falling prone.
And then I'll just end my turn right there.
Okay. That will make it Sid's turn. Let's see that death saving throw.
Oof.
God, what do I do? I don't. It's been so long
Just
since I've.
roll a d20.
Okay, 7.
That is one failure.
Oof.
Yay.
That'll make it Ilvem's turn.
Great. I am going to I'm gonna use my action to sprout my wings.
Okay. So big rainbow opalescent wings sprout off of Ilvem's back.
Oh, awesome.
And then I will use my full movement to fly as close as I can to Sid.
Okay. What is is just your movement speed is your fly speed, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, you can make it there.
Okay. And then I can't use Cure Wounds because that's an action,
Mm-hmm.
but I will bonus action Healing Word.
Okay, roll it.
5 points.
Okay, Sid
Yay.
is up with 5 points.
And I'm guessing my arms are gone.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like hovering above you, flapping, being like,
Oh.
get up, just get up.
I forgot I had a healing elixir. Fuck yes. Because of the artificer.
All right. That's Ilvem's turn?
Yeah.
All right. The staff is going to fly forward and just swing itself at Hannibal. It is out of charges.
I mean, to be fair, an ice storm and a cone of cold,
Yeah.
I have more charges. We can
So
do
I
those.
thought I had healing elixirs. I forgot. Those are what I gave to Sid and Drusilla. Cool.
That's right. You gave your healing potion. You bought 2 of them. Okay, that is. Does a 14 hit Hannibal?
14 just hits.
Okay. So that is 6 points of bludgeoning damage and 1 point of cold damage. So just 6 bludgeoning.
Okay. Unconscious.
Okay.
Fuck.
Just like I bring him up and okay, that was the staff's turn. Drusilla's turn, still unconscious. Another death save.
Oh my god.
6.
1 success, 1 failure.
Also, I looked through my equipment. My healing elixirs I do not have.
Okay.
So
That'll be Hannibal's turn. Death saving throw.
natural 20.
You're up with 1 hit point. You get to take a turn.
Sick.
Whoo!
So it smacks you in the face and knocks you on your back. And then a second later, you like
Bitch, I live.
you like surge of adrenaline and vitality through your body as you look up at it.
Half movement to stand up.
Okay.
Firebolt.
Right in front of you.
Firebolt. Just.
Okay. And with it adjacent to you?
Oh. Fuck it. Yeah.
Okay. Make the attack with disadvantage.
Because that's Hannibal's. Oh. 7.
You stand up and you blast a firebolt, but it like knocks your hand aside. It just sends it flying into the corner of the room.
Well, that's my turn.
Okay. That'll make it Sid's turn. Sid, you're awake.
I would like to half movement get up.
Okay.
How far away from me is the staff?
It is 15 feet away from you.
Fantastic. Can I get to it?
Yes, you can. You also have to make an acrobatics check or fall prone at the end of your movement.
What if I'm 10 feet away from it?
Then no.
Okay, sick. Then I'm going to move so I'm 10 feet away from it. Bonus action, summon my arms again, and then take a smack at it.
Okay, roll the smack.
Roll to smack. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's a tasty smack. That's 23.
That does hit.
It's 4 radiant damage.
Okay. As you get up and smack into it stab into it with your claws, you like wrap the hands around it and just like stab inward. And then as you pull back, and yeah, you can see that does hurt. And this thing is not looking too great. This is taking a significant amount of damage, especially after the lightning bolt. But it's still up.
Sick.
Bringing us to back at the top of the order with Ilvem.
Great. I am going to Eldritch Blast,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
17.
That does hit.
Haha. Okay. Great. So 2 points of force damage, 4 points of radiant damage, and 4 points of necrotic damage.
So is it, you said 2, 4, and 4?
Yeah.
That is exactly how many hit points it had left. How would
Oh
Ilvem
my god.
like to finish off his staff?
So it's kind of just like, at this point, Elvim's just like, there's so many other things I need to be doing. And so just like on their way flying over to Drew, they're just gonna like throw a hand out and be like, fuck off.
All right, so you're like in midair flying towards Drew, and you just offhanded send an Eldritch Blast at it. Hits right on the end of the staff where those like frost crystals are that seem to be the source of the power. Fly past sort of like some rotating outer crystals, hit the one in the center, and just fly into it, hit the center. It glows with the same light as your wings and halo, and then just explodes. And the staff is just twisted and bent into pieces, and all the ice shatters off of it, and it clunk, 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 falls to the ground.
And then I'll finish my turn by hovering over Drew and casting Healing Word.
Okay.
You get 7 points of health back. As again, I'm just like, get up.
Drew, your eyes open, and you're laying on your back, and you can see like shards of ice flying through the air, just sending kind of like a glittery quality to the air as your like blurry vision, and you see like a pair of shining wings and a winged humanoid figure above you, just like reaching a hand down, casting healing magic as your vitality returns to your body. And
Has
you hear
Ilva
it-
shown us wings before?
I think it's happened once.
I've seen it.
Has Drew seen it?
I don't think
remember.
I don't think Hannibal and Drusilla have seen it.
Yeah, I don't think Ilvim has done this before.
So cool.
Just-
I have 1 hit
You're
point.
a bird?
I like no, but maybe I don't know. Suriel hasn't really explained it very well.
Okay.
Mage hand out to the broken staff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hand it to Drew. You said you wanted this.
It's broken now.
And then Handel's just gonna face plant on the floor.
Okay. Yeah, you're very tired.
1 hit point.
Mm-hmm. As you're all sitting there and laying there, the ice in the room, it seems like the staff of ice was what was keeping everything there. So the furnaces in the corner of the room begin melting from the like inward from the corners as everything begins to melt very, very, very quickly. And as it reaches the center of the room, those blocks of ice begin to melt and waters runs off of them. You can see that the floor of this room has like gaps in it that act as drainage, so all the water goes off and just drains through the cracks, leaving you with, as you take a look at the as you take a look at those blocks of ice, the first thing you hear as one of them melts is just the like clinking of coin. As like one of them melts, you can see that there was just like
Push
coins
myself
just
up.
suspended in the block, and like as it melts, they just start falling off one by one onto the ground, as well as several more items that were encased in the blocks of ice.
Oh,
I will go
sweet.
collect things.
Any spell books?
No spell books or scrolls for this one.
Blouse.
You do, however, see, as you all go over and start collecting stuff, you see what appears to be a single chime,
Ooh.
a tankard of some kind,
Ooh.
a cane, and as you pick them up and count them up, 234 pieces of gold.
Sick.
Would anyone be opposed if I took the cane? It would fit my kind of appearance. We could walk around with a cane like a walking stick.
Do we know what it does? What any of this does?
You do not.
Why don't we get everything appraised before we decide
Yeah.
who gets what?
Fine. I miss my wand.
But I do agree that aesthetically, I think the cane should go to you.
Thank you.
Okay. And the doorway behind you opens up, and you can see the elevator out right behind you again.
I'm gonna see if there's a sword hidden in the cane.
It does not. So it doesn't like open
Oh, okay.
or anything. However, you do see a word. You do see some runes like etched into the handle as you're like pulling at it.
Could I try to just figure out what those runes are?
Yes. Do you speak Draconic?
Ooh, good question. I will double check. Because I don't remember everything I can do.
How many silver pieces per gold?
10.
10.
10.
Nope, I speak Common, Gith, Infernal, and Primordial.
Okay. As you're looking at it, make me an Arcana check to see if you can try and
Heck
decipher it. 'Cause
yeah.
Draconic is the core language of a lot of spellcasting.
Dirty 20.
Okay. You are able to discern that the word is a single word written on the side that is in Draconic the word change.
So it's just the runes say change.
As soon as you you say it in common, but
yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, nothing happens.
Runes on the what now?
The cane.
On the cane. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you would know what the word, like the actual Draconic word and pronunciation is.
Ooh, I'll say it in Draconic anyway.
Okay, as you say it in Draconic, there's like a flash of light along the length of the cane, and instead of a cane in your hand, you're holding a longsword.
Oh.
That's so sexy.
Let me see if I'm proficient in that, because if so, Hannibal won. But we'll see. It's a longsword, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not proficient in that. Only firearms and simple weapons.
Anyone proficient in longsword?
I'm trained.
Yo. Yes.
I'll give it to Ilvim.
Okay, still in sword form right now.
Yeah. I'll say it again and change again into Draconic and give it to Ilvim.
Another flash of light along its length, and it switches back into a cane.
Cool.
I'm gonna go look at the chime.
Okay, it has like a thin leather strap running like through a hole on it that it looks like it can be like attached onto a belt or like worn around someone's neck or like hung on something. And then it's got kind of like a triangular pattern to it. So like it's like a tube, but basically like if you look at the top of it, the end is triangular. And it's this very like light blue with just a whole bunch of very faint arcane runes running up and down its length.
Do you want me to decipher those as well, Sid?
Yeah, sure.
I attempt to decipher the runes on the chime.
Give me an Arcana check.
6. 2 plus 4.
You got nothing.
2 plus 4.
You got nothing. You can tell like from a little just by looking at them, like these have to do with the effect of the item, like they are what gives it its power. But aside from that, you don't know. You can't decipher any meaning.
These runes give it its power.
Cool. Can I jingle a little bit?
It's one of those. It's like you have to like if you smack it on something, it like rings.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to the group. Cover your ears. I'm gonna do this.
I'm not gonna cover my ears.
Boop.
Okay. It lets out a very like nice like clear ringing sound. But nothing happens.
Okay. I'm going to take a look at the tankard then.
Okay. The tankard looks pretty like it's very well made. It's made of pewter. Looks like it's almost like a solid one piece. But in it, as you're looking at it, you can see that like you turn it over and on one of the sides, etched into it, you can see the pattern of what looks to be like a very stern, frowning face.
Yeah. Can I open it?
It's just like a mug basically. There's no top to it.
Oh, can I tip it to see
Nothing
if
happens.
anything comes out?
Yeah, nothing comes out.
Okay. Hannibal, do you want to take a look at this?
Okay. I limp over with my 1 hit point.
I'm sorry, I'm fresh out of everything.
It is fine.
It's alright.
I take a look at it.
Okay. You see the same thing Sid does. You could probably tell it's probably magic, but without an identify spell, you don't have a means of finding out exactly what it does.
Can I see it for a second?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to frown at the frowny face.
Nothing happens.
I'm gonna think really hard.
Got nothing.
About milk.
Nope, nothing.
Okay, and I hand it
Poke
back.
the face.
Okay.
Poke the face.
I poke the face.
Nothing. It's just like etched into the side. It's like you're like, this is probably magical, but like not getting much of any kind of reaction out of it.
Milk.
Nothing.
Well,
I'm going to take out my my water skin and pour a bit of water into it and see what happens.
Looks like water.
I'm gonna dump it out.
Well,
hits the ground and goes like through the drain holes.
I guess we just have to
Okay.
get that appraised.
All right. Also, everybody, 58 gold, 5 silver.
And I don't remember. I need to. Okay. 58 gold, 5 silver.
I don't know how to do math.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Thankfully, with
Fine, I
D&D
found my
Beyond, you
phone.
automatically add it to your total.
True.
Do I have anything that'll make me feel better? Nope. But
So how's everybody feeling?
not great.
Definitely beat up, but we should probably go take these items to be appraised and then pass out.
Yeah, we could take them right to 5 and the Butthole Man, and then
Butthole man.
My
You
favorite
know-
superhero.
You know, honestly, like I'm not feeling that bad at all.
great.
It'll just beelined away from the party and just avoided everything.
If Hannibal wasn't resistant to cold, that would have outright killed him.
I will also tell all of you that the hot corners of the room dealt a d4 of fire damage to you around if you stayed in them, but provided immunity to cold damage.
Love it.
Great.
Love that.
Well, glad we didn't go in those.
So
Woohoo.
let's leave.
Yeah, is there anything else here that looks cool?
Yep, it looks like you've got all of it.
Cool. Do we still have the staff even though it's broken?
You do. It's like twisted and
Yes.
smashed,
So
and like
worthless, yeah.
it pretty much looks worthless. It looks like all the magic was expended out of
Ooh,
it.
I'm gonna rush over to it.
Mm.
Mending.
Okay. You can cast so mending
I know
like
it doesn't repair magical items, but
yeah,
Just
and it
kinda-
looks mending also like it reattaches things generally. So
Yeah.
this thing's like twisted and crumpled.
Mm.
that's
So
right.
like you cast it, and like some things, like there are places where the metal is like split apart, and like you can like reattach it, but for the most part, it's just it stays pretty much
Ugh,
messed up.
toss it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
Fine,
that,
Clutter.
Drew.
It's okay. We probably had to destroy it to end this anyway. But
Dispel
Alright.
magic. Okay.
let's head back.
Limping very slowly.
You
All right, you
want
had
a healing spell?
What?
Do you want me to heal you?
No, I want to walk around like I'm on the edge of death.
Can't tell if that was serious or not.
It was sarcastic.
Hey, she's gonna give him just a little basic first level cure wounds.
Okay.
10.
Cool, I'm at 11 hit points. Yeah, much better. Thank you, Drew.
You're welcome.
I guess we should
Okay.
leave.
Let's go.
All right, y'all head out back towards the entrance. You get onto that elevator, and there's like a bell that you can ring.
Oh, I'm gonna grab my spear.
Oh, yeah, you go get your spear.
Hold on, I forgot something.
Pick it up off the ground, run back.
Ding-a-ling-ling-ling-ling.
You ring the bell, and then you can hear the like team of oxen that works the pulley start moving up on the ground level, and the whole thing starts rising up again. You can see just the outer surface of the Bonegrinder's mechanical structure before it gives way to stone, and you blink in the light of day outside again, and you can see the plaza out in front of you, and the guards are like, "Good job, you survived. You look wow, y'all look a little beat up, but
I mean,
good job.
I don't.
Yeah, you frost still like melting in their hair.
We kicked ass.
Well, congratulations. Come
Yeah.
back another time.
Thanks, Bucko. And I'm gonna like awkwardly punch his shoulder, you know?
Yeah, you like hit the shoulder, the metal shoulder pauldron, and just like clink. It's like, yeah, thanks.
Okay.
We'll
Right.
head off
We're gonna head
to
out.
the place where we do the things.
Master
What was 5?
Yeah, it's like right to your left as you come out across the semicircle plaza. You make your way over to like the far left, up against where like the road kind of like raises up. This is kind of like set down a little bit, and the rest of the road like goes in an upward direction towards the river. So this is like almost up against like a stone wall. You go inside, and yeah, you can see 5 standing behind like the basically pawn shop counter with like the cage and everything blocking it off. And he sees and goes, "Hello, I'm glad to see you did not die.
We almost did.
Do you have items that need appraising? Or would you like to make a purchase?"
We have a few items of interest.
Excellent. If you would place them on the counter, I can bring them back to Master Axul for appraisal.
Perfect. You're gonna set the chime and the tankard on the table.
That will be 20 gold pieces for the appraisal.
Okay, I will hand over that 20 gold.
Okay. And then he takes them to the back, walks away for a little bit. About 10 minutes goes by, and then 20 minutes goes by, and then he comes back out, and he sets them down. You can see that he sets them down, and they've got like a little slip of paper that goes with them, basically detailing their effects. And he hands them back to you. You find out that you have a chime of opening.
Yes.
So a chime of opening, you can point at any closed or locked door within 120 feet of you, and ring the chime. As long as sound can reach the door or the lock, it unlocks. As long as it's a I believe it has to be a non-magical lock.
We can get it
I believe so, yeah.
One lock or latch on the object opens unless the sound can't reach the object. If no locks or latches remain, the object itself just opens. Anything that can be opened, such as a door, lid, or a lock. So, chime it. Anything 120 feet opens. Doors, lids, locks, whatever. So if it's unlocked, it'll still just like swing open.
anywhere.
And you can use it 10 times. After the 10th time, it cracks and becomes useless. So it has limited uses.
Okay.
The tankard is a tankard of sobriety.
Yeah. Oh.
Basically, you can...
It's a Dionysus.
If you drink any sort of alcoholic beverage out of it, it is as if it was not alcoholic. So you can drink and drink and drink and drink, and you'll never become inebriated.
That is very interesting.
That's interesting.
I could use that.
It has no effect on poisons or magical liquids of any kind. Just alcohol.
Just alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't turn it into not alcohol, but like you won't get drunk.
Yep, it just like neutralizes the alcoholic effects of whatever it is, but otherwise leaves it exactly the same.
Love it.
So that's what you got.
Do you have any spell books?
Spell books? Yes, we do.
Like that are filled out, maybe?
We don't have any filled out spell books. However, we have a library of scrolls, and Master Axul can inscribe scrolls as well for a price.
How much are the scrolls?
That depends entirely on the potency of the spell.
Let's say I wanted a spell that's fun.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the distinction.
Fireball and lightning bolt.
Sorry, Fireball and Lightning Bolt, you said?
Yeah.
Those would be, for a scroll of each of those, that would be 300 gold each.
Never mind. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Let me know if you
Love
need
it.
anything else.
Oh, do you have any, actually, good question. Do you have any, like, materials for transcribing spells? I left up my spell book in this thing.
Oh, yes, we have plenty of those.
How much would it cost for a lifetime supply?
We don't offer a lifetime supply.
How much for a month's worth?
That depends entirely on how much you would inscribe in a month.
Let's say I'm doing a spell a week.
Depends on the potency of the spell.
I'm new to being a wizard. Okay. Thank you.
It would be, depending on the spell you're inscribing, it would take a certain amount of materials based on the cost, as well as the quality of the materials. In addition, you may have a certain proficiency in specific types of spells that would make it easier for you to inscribe them, thus reducing the cost.
Not yet, but I've been thinking about transmutation.
Don't you? I thought wizards picked a school, or not, wizards not pick a
Level
school.
two.
First level?
Second
Oh, that's the
level.
second
Yeah,
level.
first
That's right.
level,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. Okay.
I was like looking at the schools. I'm like, oh, transmutation makes more sense for Hannibal. So
Yeah. Okay. So he said that's what he lets you know.
okay, thank you. Do you have any?
Of course.
Actually, do you guys do enchantments yet?
We do not do our own enchanting here. No.
Do you know where I could get something enchanted?
Most likely, there would be places at the university itself. Enchanting itself is a very rare art that only a few people actually practice.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
5. Do you have any more regular healing potions?
Oh, yes, we keep a steady supply.
Fantastic. And that's 50 each, yeah?
Yes, it is.
I'll take one, please.
All right. He reaches into the bag. You can tell that, like, this is a hot item here, so he keeps them, like, right behind the counter, given that the Bonegrinder is, like, 100 feet away. So, yeah, he...
Sorry.
Oh, he takes out a little test tube rack type thing, pulls out one vial of red healing potion and hands it over to you and takes your 50 gold and sets the potions back behind the counter.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, what was your question?
Do you have any wands? My that experimental one I was playing with broke into pieces.
I believe we do have a few wands, yes, although they are fairly expensive.
Never mind.
Master Axul has been recently looking into the quality of the things we are selling and has been purging low-quality goods from our stock.
Do you do trades?
We can, on occasion, for specific magical items.
How much do these ones usually go for?
Oh, that depends. Usually up in the upwards of several hundred to in the thousands of gold.
Can I see some of the several hundred gold ones?
Sure. Let me go see what I can get into the back. And he heads into the back of the shop and starts rooting around a little bit, seeing what he can find. Let me see what he comes up with. So he comes up with, he brings back a couple of them. He says, well, we have a few wands that are mostly used for fun. These would be some in the realm of around 150 gold each. For example, this is a wand of smiles. He holds it up.
No, thank you.
You can see it's got like smiley faces running along the side, as if you point it at someone and they fail to resist, they will smile for the next minute and they will be unable to do anything else.
Oh, interesting. Actually, how much is that?
That one is 150 gold.
I hand over 150 gold.
Okay.
And
I mean, they can do other things, but like with their face, they can only smile.
And I'm gonna slyly point it at Sid and use it.
Okay.
I knew you were going to do that.
Sid, make me a charisma saving throw.
Oh, God. What is that? 16.
You succeed. Nothing happens. You can feel like the corners of your mouth tug up and you just like force them back down.
Just cross my arms and look at Hannibal.
It was the wand. It wasn't me. Does this wand... I can use it as a focus?
I don't see.
I think you can use any wand.
Yeah, I think you use any wand.
Yeah.
If not, that makes sense. So yeah, you can use it as a spellcasting focus.
What about any of the more fun wands?
Well, let's see. Oh yeah, so that is a wand of smiles. Just it has 3 charges.
My equipment. Oh, I already
yeah, that's
used
right.
Charge. Damn it.
Yep. I love that if you expend the last charge, roll a d20 on a 1, it doesn't get destroyed. It just turns into a wand of scowls.
Excellent.
So the wand of On a Wand of Scowls, if you roll a 1 on the last charge, it turns back into a Wand of Smiles. So they just switch back and forth.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, he takes the rest of the wands he got and walks away with them. And then he comes back with a couple more. These ones have more potent effects. For example, this one here allows you to cast the Entangle spell several times per day.
Yeah.
We also have we normally keep a good stock of wands of magic missiles, although we're currently out of stock of those. We have a wand of detect magic. We have a wand of web. Let me see. This one detects secret doors or traps.
How much is that one?
These ones, the secret doors and traps is 400. The other ones I mentioned have been 600.
Cool.
Could I trade for the wand of web?
What do you have to trade?
The wand of smiles.
I pull out the wand of smiles.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull out, because I can't remember what we said these spells were, 2 4th level spell scrolls.
You also noticed that there was one more wand that he pulled out.
Yeah.
Those the chef's tool
Yes.
rolls that have all of the little slots for the knives and everything.
Yeah.
He basically pulled out one of those, but it's got wands set into it, and he knows there's one he didn't get to.
Oh, what's that one?
Oh, this is a wand of the war mage.
I'll take that instead. How much is that?
Okay. That is also 600. But in exchange for 2 4th level spell scrolls and the wand of smiles I just sold you, that would be an even trade. Yes.
Insight check.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Okay, roll it.
Sounds a bit sus.
8.
Seems reasonable to you.
I
Excellent.
got a 17.
Okay. Ilvam, you notice he accepted that pretty quickly. You may be able to haggle him down to just one of the spell scrolls and the wand of smiles, but it was Hannibal offered it and he was just like, "Yep, that'll work. I'll take it."
Okay.
But you also detect he's not trying to cheat you. He's just like, "That's what you offered, and I will give you this in exchange." That's not my job to tell you you're overpaying.
Okay, before you take both of the scrolls, would you mind just taking one of them instead? And then I'll put on my most charming smile, just the...
Give me a persuasion check.
I have a 5th level spell scroll. It's fine.
It's a natural 20, which takes us to 27.
Okay, yeah. He's like, "Oh, yes. In fact, one of those spell scrolls by themselves would do it. I wouldn't even need the wand."
Well, there you have it.
Okay, just take the spell scroll then.
All right. We'll figure out...
Wand.
What?
What? Oh, I thought you were saying that you were taking... Never mind. Ignore me.
Okay. He says, "All right." So he takes one of the scrolls. Once we remember what scrolls you got.
Yep, because I don't remember. I have a 4th and a 5th one.
Yep. Yeah, and he gives you a wand of the war mage +1.
Yes.
So your spell attack rolls receive a +1 bonus, and you ignore half cover when making spell attacks.
Yes.
Sick.
All right. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
All right. Oh, I just remembered last episode when Hannibal dropped 20 feet. He was wearing the meteor ring. He shouldn't have had to make that acrobatics check and should have instead hit the ground with a meteor strike.
Damn it.
Well, I think you made the acrobatics check, so basically that's actually what happened. You took no damage either way, I think.
That would have been so cool though.
Yep. Because you could have actually done that onto the creature itself.
Wouldn't have it hurt them too, my friends?
No, it doesn't have a radius.
Nice.
It only hits the square you landed.
Oh, I think it looks like I have to attune to this wand.
Yes, you do.
Well, thank you, 5.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your business.
That's all for me, unless you guys want to do something. Unless you want to figure out what that sword is, Ilvem.
I think I'm just gonna train with it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll leave, and when we leave the shop, I will address Drew and just hold up the chime and the tankard.
The chime.
Okay, hand over the chime.
I'm gonna be playing with both wands like they're drumsticks.
Okay. Just like drumming on things as you walk past them. All right,
Wield
where to
wands.
next? Yeah.
What time of day is it right now?
It's probably like you'll see, rested for 2 hours. It's probably like around noon at this point.
Oh,
Okay.
You like came first thing in the morning,
I'm useless
Or-
right now.
or probably like noon or 1, somewhere around midday, because you pretty much went straight to Silvergate to drop off the letters, and then right to the Bonegrinder first thing in the morning.
No more spell
Mm.
slots.
Yeah, we're super useless right now. So did we want to go back to the Onyx Cat and rest? Did we want to do something else?
Well, we just woke up technically, so I don't think we could rest again.
You can't. So like a long rest does not necessarily include sleep. It's just 8 straight hours of inactivity. So like if you spend the day just kind of like hanging out in your room and resting and like reading books and stuff, I would count that as a long rest.
There's got to be more exciting things we can do as downtime instead of always hanging out at the Onyx Cat, though.
Okay, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to explore a little bit?
Why not? We always end up in the same place all the time, so exploring could be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just explore. We will see where the wind takes us.
Okay, let's just point in a random direction and just go that way.
Okay.
And then maybe I can play with this wand a bit and point at random people.
No.
Smiling. They're just going to smile.
No.
I'm going to point it at myself.
Okay, make a charisma saving throw. DC 10.
I don't want to make the saving throw.
Okay, you start smiling.
Big old
Your face.
lipless mouth.
Stop.
This is
Does
very
that hurt?
weird. It's uncomfortably
Yeah,
weird.
your face is like pulled into a big giant smile.
I don't think he can stop. I think
Does
it's
it
just
hurt?
like that for a minute.
It's like this for a minute.
Does it hurt? Is it uncomfortable?
No, it's just I can't stop smiling.
Do you feel better?
Making me
No.
Hmm.
It's
I
just,
am uncomfortable.
okay, let's just walk down the street while I'm smiling.
So who else is curious about that Gith lady?
Me?
I mean, I'm curious, but at the same time, like, I'd like to stay away from that for a bit.
Yeah, until we're stronger.
Especially when we're so beat up. I don't, I know that based off of what Master Varro told us that, like, the Gith are keeping tabs on us, but I don't want to deal with that right now. I got other stuff to worry about.
Yes. Oh. Well, let's just go have fun. Walk around, see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're all just gonna go for a walk
Random
in
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah.
All right.
we're walking.
Holding
And
Sid's hand.
Random direction.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Someone roll me a d8. Well, for your random direction you pick.
I rolled a 2.
Okay, so I'm gonna say 1 is north, 2 is northeast. So you start just kind of walking northeast, pretty much just basically following along the river. You're going through the riverfront district known as Bakir's Walk, which you notice a lot of. You can tell this is where a lot of people who are from out of town come through. You notice like a lot of travelers, but they appear to be. A lot of them are wearing like holy symbols of the silver flame, which is basically just like a metal. Either like in the fancier end, it's like a metal like cut out metal little flame. Though for the less fancy ones, it's just like a wooden little like token with like a silver flame painted onto it that like they wear around their neck. And you see several places that have like you see one fairly large building you pass by along the river that says Pilgrim Services, and you get the sense that like this is the section of town that people making religious pilgrimages come to, just to like get support and like be helped out along their way and like get directions and stuff like that.
Are any of you religious? I'm not, if that eases the conversation. I believe what's dead must be dead, stay dead. I don't believe in resurrection and all that kind of stuff. It shouldn't happen. You should just be dead if you're dead.
Well, I mean, there are some religions that follow that believe that.
But I don't follow a religion. I like to follow my own way.
That's valid. I'm not particularly religious. I mean, I follow the path of the astral self, which I guess to some people is considered a religion. It kind of depends on what you define as a religion, but I'd actually, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to check out this building really quick.
Yeah, good idea. Let's do that.
Sure.
Okay. Gonna go into the pilgrimage place.
Okay. So yeah, you go in. It's a pretty big building, almost like U-shaped, with a courtyard in front, flag, like almost has like a embassy quality to it, but in the wrong district and more religiously focused, but definitely like is a representation of the Temple of the Silver Flame in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, as you come in, you can see as you come in, there's like people walking around. You can see a lot of travelers, people like traveling cloaks and packs and stuff who just made it in and are like walking around talking to each other and stuff. You can see like a sign directing to like a smaller chapel to the Silver Flame here, but then like there's also information on tours of the temple and all that stuff. Like this is kind of like for the people who come out of town or come from out of town for religious purposes, like where they go to get directions and everything. And you can see a Goliath actually walking around the room, like talking to people, wearing a set of like white robes, but like less flowy, but they're kind of like belted in the middle, but with like a silver, like running silver flame pattern, like up and down like the sleeves and around the cuffs. He's like walking around checking on people and talking to them as you come in.
Sick. I would like to go up to that guy.
All right. Yeah, he sees you all come in, and like as you all like, and you can see he's like shaking hands and talking to people, checking on everything, and like as you come in, like he starts making his way towards you and says, "Hello, very nice to meet you. I'm Pilgrim Keeper Omud. Are you here?" Omud, yeah, Omud.
Omud. Red.
Are you on a pilgrimage?
Not currently, no, but I actually had a few questions. I'm originally from Oromar, and I know that there were pilgrimages to Oromar, and I was wondering if this is a center for those pilgrimages. I just wanted some more information.
Oh, yes. So this is the city of Pyre itself is a ending point for most pilgrimages, but Oromar is a stopping point on the longer pilgrimage itself.
And do you have more information on that pilgrimage? Such as why people, I'm just curious, like why people take it, what the purpose is.
Well, do any of you know the story of the Prophet Baqir?
Do any of us know the story of the Prophet Baqir?
Probably the only one who would have an inkling is Sid, because of especially like one, being raised on this continent as part of society, and two, the fact that the pilgrimage does pass through. So Sid, you could make a religion check to see how much you know about it.
That's not good.
Okay.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Is it 4?
Yeah, you're like, the name rings a bell, but people said it when they were passing through. I was really wrapped up in my own stuff at the time and not paying attention. You all know, all of you would be aware that this entire section of town is known as Bakir's Walk. So the name like rings a bell for all of you, but you don't like actually know the connection. He said, "Well, if you would like, I'd be happy to share the story with you. It is one of the core stories of the Temple of the Silver Flame."
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, me too. Me and Ilvem, do you want to go walk around while the story is told?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
We're
Does
not
Drew
religious.
Does Drew go with or stay with Sid to listen?
I'm just curious. She's gonna stay.
Okay. So Drew and Sid hang out. Ilvim and Hannibal. Do you like leave the building, or you just like walk around in the building?
I'll let Ilvem decide.
We're gonna leave the building and just kind of like
Thank God.
walk around the river.
Okay. So you two just like go start walking. You like go over to the riverbank and are like hanging out over by the water and walking up and down.
Place is uncomfortable.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you can see that giant ship that docked not too far away, like a little ways down. You can see like people bringing supplies on and off. All right, back inside. Omid says, "Why don't we go over? Let's go over here. Let's have a seat. It's a bit of a tale." And he directs you over, and he sits down. And he says, "Well, so a long time ago, this nation of Luth was at war with our neighbor of Iolith, which you might know now are both part of the Arclight Covenant, the name of which came from one day during a particularly bloody battle. The two nations were fighting across the border, and, well, a arc of silver light appeared across the sky, almost like an aurora. And both sides stopped fighting because they both thought that it was some sort of weapon or trick from the other side. So they both stopped and were trying to figure out exactly what happened, what was going on there. Well, one of the soldiers of the other side, well, mercenaries really hired by Luth, was told to investigate. So with the help of a few Luth mages, lifted off the ground, started to fly, and flew up to investigate, see what was going on. And as he flew up, as he flew up into the air, he reached it. It wasn't as high up as anyone thought that it was, but he reached up and he touched it and made our first contact with the Silver Flame. So he said that the flame called out to him and, encouraged him to reach out and make contact. As he did, all of the flame that it split across the sky rushed inward towards that one spot, and he fell to the ground. He fell to the ground on the other side, the side of Iolith. And he was captured by the enemy soldiers, unconscious. When he was awoken, he was interrogated. And as he was interrogated, the soldiers that interrogated him found he seemed to have gained an immense amount of wisdom. They attempted to force truth from him with magic and everything, but nothing their spells could do could have an effect on him. They tried to attempt torture even, but none of themselves, for some reason, could bring themselves to harm the mercenary, and they were suddenly filled with great sorrow and remorse before they could even lay their hands on him to harm him. So, they were afraid this was some sort of attack. So on the fourth day after his fall, they released one of their, back then the Iolith was suffering from something called the Spell Plague, and one of the people called Spell Scarred who were suffering from this plague were used as sort of living weapons, as they were rendered nearly feral by the magical disease. And one of these women was released upon him, and she charged at him, but suddenly he moved very quickly, and he he placed his hand on the side of her face where the green flame of her spell scar of the spell plague was, and as he did, the flames changed from green to silver, and she was restored. And actually, as he says this, Drusilla, you remember your very first day in the city. You saw a woman walking along like the main road and going up to the temple with a similar thing he's describing, like that kind of Greek spectral green flame pattern coming off of her arm. And as she went into the temple and came back, it was made silver, and you were told that she was on a pilgrimage to have her spell plague cured, and was, for making the full pilgrimage, inducted into the Silver Order. That was like your very first day in the city. And he says, as she was restored, she returned to herself, and she was furious at her people that had used her like an animal for war. And he says, a woman named Fikra, and she went to attack her fellows, but she prepared to lash out at them. She saw fear in their eyes, and she felt pity. So choosing to heal instead of kill, she shared her gift with the others affected by the plague, and cured them all in turn, as Baqir had cured her, and returned them all to their senses, and granted them a small piece of the silver flame within her. Following this, Baqir and Fikra took all of those people who had been considered monsters by Iolith and the surrounding world, and they took them west into the Luth war camp. They encountered soldiers ready to attack them, not knowing if they were friend or foe, but Baqir raised his hand in friendly greeting. And as the soldiers prepared to attack him once again, they were filled with sorrow, and they fell to their knees, weeping at the thought of harming him. And this group of formerly spell-scarred kept walking, and they proceeded onwards. They wandered through the northern lands of Luth, and eventually made their ways into the southern reaches of what was back then the Silmalon Empire, where they encountered a large group of Tabaxi. Now, back then, Tabaxi were considered outsiders and weren't part of the protected under the laws of the Silver Flame or of the Silmalon Empire. So while Bakir and his acolytes were staying with them, one of them found out that a wealthy landowner was planning on attacking several Tabaxi settlements as part of an attempt at obtaining land. Now, there wasn't enough time to warn all of these settlements, and there was a young Tabaxi woman who was fearing for her people and wanted to help, but Bakir extended a hand to her and shared with her some of his silver flame, as he had with Fikra, and granted this woman the speed of the wind, enough to warn her people. And she was ran across the landscape to all of her people and saved them, and allowed them all to escape. And as these Tabaxi came together, they told tales of the silver wind, the fast runner who saved them, and of course Bakir, the prophet that gave her the power to do so. And this was on the 16th day after his fall. Now, this group wandered through the northern desert for a bit, sustained by the silver flame, and they continued across the mountains. And this is the part where they come to your lands, Omar. They made their way through the mountains into the lands of the Lake Elves. Now, these days are not well documented by our people, and from contact with your people, it's, well, at the time they were just a group of wanderers, so not terribly notable to a nation that's used to taking on guests. So not much is known about that, but is known that they eventually they left, spent some time there, and they found their way to the war camps of the nation of what would one day become Yurtica, which was still, during this point, the western half of Vaugef. Now, Bakir and his followers learned the cultural courtesy of the hobgoblins and experienced it firsthand. They discovered that what they had been told as a very warlike, savage people were, in fact, kind and courteous and polite, and upheld a very rigid structure of honor. As they offered kindness, they received kindness in return, and they became welcomed guests of the warlord. As they were kept as guests, Bakir spoke to the warlord, and he tried to sway him from his war of conquest. But each day, Kultan, the warlord, gave his reasons and denied him and said no. But each day, Bakir came back and spoke with him. And on the 64th day after his fall, Kultan asked Bakir how he managed a life without strife or conflict, and Bakir told him that his life did not lack challenge, but he sought peaceful solutions, though he was not beyond using violence if absolutely necessary. Kultan thought about this and asked what it was like, and Bakir reached out and shared his light with the warlord, and with that, the conquest halted. Kultan had literally seen the light, and now that light flowed through him, just as it did with Fikra in Silver Wind, and it granted him more wisdom and something his people had never truly known, which was faith. Kultan the warlord was in service to Maglubiet, the goblin god, who ruled by absolute fear and domination, demanding nothing but loyalty and submission from his subjects. But the Silver Flame showed them that they could keep the things that were core to them and their civilization. They didn't need to bow to a god that didn't care for them. So they decided to forsake their god, their cruel evil god that forced them to do things that were against the way that their culture would like, and found more harmony within with the Silver Flame. So free from their goblin god, Kultan banished all the goblins and bugbears that still clung to the old ways eastward out of their new nation, built out of the war camp. And at this point that Baqir began to walk west towards the coast. And many followed him as he taught temperance and peace, blending together the philosophies that he had learned from the Tabac, the hobgoblins, and Iolith. And it is believed, of course, that some of the philosophies he learned when among your people of the Lake Elves. And he preached as he walked, and he approached the coast. And now, at this point, the king of Luth was a nervous man named King Imeta. And he had heard of the silver fire in the sky and a man walking his kingdom performing miracles. He ordered this man found and ordered him brought before him, but none could do it. And he were reported that when they finally faced this prophet, they couldn't bring themselves to capture him, even though it was ordered to fire on him with a bow from afar, couldn't bring themselves to. And as the weeks went on, Baqir grew closer, and King Imeta could practically feel him approaching his throne. As a path was easy to chart, and it made a line as straight as an arrow pointed directly at his castle. And as Baqir grew closer, the king became more and more panicked and paranoid, and it soon became clear that Baqir was definitely coming to his palace, the palace that now houses the Silver Flame. And we call this street here Baqir's Walk because it is the street that the prophet walked along up to the palace. On the 252nd day after his fall, Baqir arrived at the palace. He walked straight to the throne room. The guards couldn't bring themselves to stop him until he was standing in front of the king himself. The king was panicked as guards fell to their knees weeping, but the king felt nothing, absolutely nothing but fear. And as the prophet approached the king, his arms outstretched, the king, in fear, drew a knife and stabbed the prophet just as Baqir wrapped him in a tender embrace as he hugged him. And as he hugged him, Imeta was suddenly struck by the profound tragedy of what he had done. He had destroyed something pure and beautiful because of his fear and paranoia. As the king realized this, he began to weep with a profound sadness, wrapping his arms around the former mercenary like a child clinging to his mother. The wound was such that it wouldn't kill Baqir until the king moved his hand and removed it. So he held the knife in there as long as he could, holding off the inevitable. And as he did, Baqir spoke to the king and taught him the ways of the Silver Flame, whispering in his ear and culminating in the 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 edicts of the Silver Flame. On the 256th day after his fall, Baqir's final act was to bestow a piece of his light onto King Imeta, making him his 4th acolyte. And in this final act, Baqir was engulfed by the blinding silver fire, growing into a towering silver inferno, centered over Imeta's throne, creating the Silver Flame as it stands today. And he points up in the direction of the palace. And that's the point. That is the day when King Imeta worked rekin the covenant of the Silver Flame, uniting the 4 nations that Baqir had passed through, and coordinating the ascension of the first 4 tetrarchs of the covenant, the leaders of the 4 nations, of the hobgoblins, the Tabac, Iolith, and Luth. And that is where we come with this alliance that we have today. And the pilgrimage that you asked about is the path that Baqir took with his followers, beginning with the war camp at the city of Baqir's Rest, or Baqir's Fall, off to the east in Iolith, and then following along the path that he took, passing eventually through Orolmar, as you mentioned it, and then ending up at the Palace of the Silver Flames. Now, here in the pilgrim services is where most people come and stop on their way, and we can't have everyone heading up to the temple at all times, so we have to coordinate and make it, smaller groups, as not to overwhelm the temple, but that's more or less how that happened.
Well, thank you. That's very interesting. And there's no record of what happened in Orolmar on this pilgrimage.
There's not, no. We've spoken to your people and asked, but again, it seems your people are so used to taking on guests and pilgrims of their own that wasn't terribly remarkable when this group of people came through, so they didn't think much of it enough to keep detailed record of anything that was spoken about or happened.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Thank you for sitting down with us and telling us this.
Of course, I'm absolutely happy to.
All right. Well, Drew? Shall we head out?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Of course. Happy to help. And he gets up and he goes over towards a few more people that just came in. Ilvem and Hannibal, you've been like just hanging out over by the river.
Yeah, just skipping stones if there are stones to skip.
Hard to find, but you could probably find them. It's harder too because like the riverfront is like raised up a little bit, like it's not at water level. So like you can like toss them out, and like you can get it's coming down at an angle, so you can get a couple of skips off, but it's harder than being like down at water level.
Well, oh, so
The weather's real nice, huh?
yeah, it's great. How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you feeling?
Pretty great. I got this 2 1s.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What do you think they're talking about in there?
Something
And we'll just switch to
boring, I'm
Irish.
sure.
Yeah, he totally just switched to Irish. Do you think it's a good conversation?
I'm pretty sure it's pretty boring.
That's what I was thinking, probably too.
Yeah,
Do you think we should prank them?
I'm into it. What are you thinking?
What are you thinking?
I don't have any magic left.
Me neither.
So,
We could just run away and hide in an alley or something,
we could hide and then just pop out at them.
or they could just waste their time trying to find us, and then we just.
Oh my god! And then we like make ourselves known to them, and we're like, "Where have you been? We've been searching everywhere for you." But really, we were just sitting hidden in
Elsewhere.
an alley. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Let's go find an alley real quick.
Okay.
All right, so you go and like rush over towards an alley.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
get as
Okay.
far back into it as possible.
Okay. Sid and Drew, you come out of Pilgrim Services and you don't see Hannibal or Ilvem anywhere around.
Where do you think they went?
Did they go back to the Onyx Cat?
I mean, Hannibal was pretty beat up, I assume, possibly.
Yeah. They probably went back to the Onyx Cat to go sleep.
Yeah.
Just chill.
I kind of wanted to stop by the library and do a little bit of research. Did you have anything that you wanted to do?
Not particularly.
Okay. Do you have oh no, I think Hannibal and Ilvem both had the sending stones.
I have the sending stone.
Oh, you have a sending stone?
Yeah.
You want to try to get a hold of him real quick? I know Ilvem has one.
Yeah, sure. I'll try the sending stone.
Okay.
Okay, there's no word limit. Just gonna activate the sending stone. Hi, where are you guys?
There's no word limit, but there is a message limit, just so you know.
And
Yeah,
it's once a day.
Yeah, once a day.
Yeah, but he can respond.
Yeah.
So
You're just gonna be like,
What's
You just like
happening?
hear Drusilla's.
I wouldn't hear it. What's happening?
the sending stone.
Oh, tell them we're somewhere else where we're not.
Leave a message. Beep.
No.
That's the response you get from
You
Ilvem.
should have said. Hannibal got stabbed to death in the street. Come find us.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm sorry. I completely panicked.
But I think you can use yours now and send a message back.
Is that true?
Let's find
I
out.
don't think so.
Let me double check.
Because I think the reply might be a free thing to do. With the sending stone, it's a little tricky.
The reply is, you get a free, let's see.
No, I'm gonna say no because it says once sending is cast through the stones, they can't be used again until the next dawn.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
Well,
The way it's worded, yeah, they work as a pair.
I think it's a one-time use thing, actually, the more I think about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, seems like they're busy. Don't want to be bothered.
That's kind of worrisome. considering Hannibal was already wanting to point that wand at people and make them smile.
I mean, do you want to try to find them?
I mean, if they're making a ruckus, we'll find them eventually. I really just think they went back to the Onyx Cat.
Yeah.
That seems like the most logical, right?
Yeah, and I feel like if they were actually like in trouble, you know, Ilvum has enough sense to tell us that they're in trouble and they need help.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna head to the library if you want to come with.
Sure. See if I'm allowed in there. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so Ilvum actually thought of a good prank we could do.
Okay, I'm listening.
We head back to the Onyx Cat,
Yes.
and we put stuff in Drew and Sid's beds.
I don't want to get murdered.
We'll say it was somebody else.
That doesn't sound super believable. What else you got? What else you got?
Dig through the bag of holding, pull out that vial of poo. I have a vial of Moloch's poo we could do something with.
What if we find them, we stalk them, we throw poo at them, and then we hide?
Excellent. What else? Actually, let's see what else I have in here I could throw at them. Because poo might get us killed.
Actual siblings.
I have fish scales.
Oh, interesting, interesting.
That's a vial. I have a vial of unidentified slime. I don't exactly know what it does yet.
That could be really fun.
Unless it's acidic. I have Moloch's poo in a vial. I have 10 stone giant toenails. And half a sparrow.
Half a sparrow.
Okay.
That's what we're
So-
working with.
If we touch the goo before we throw it, we can check if it's acidic. And if it's not, then we can throw the goo.
Good idea. And I dump it in my hand.
Which goo is that?
It's just unidentified slime.
Remember when you got that?
It's a starting equipment for a Simic scientist.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, it appears to just be like, it doesn't appear to be acidic, just very, very slick and goopy.
Well, that's it, and I put it back in the vial.
Perfect.
It's like some still sticks to your hand.
Do you think we could find, like, a stable, and we could buy feces from a large beast of burden, like a horse or something?
I mean, like, I'm sure we could, but like emotionally, I don't know if that's in me.
Or we could just roam the streets and look to see if we can find a horse dropping and pick it up.
No, you're right. I'd rather do the stable thing.
I have Mage Hand. We don't even have to touch it. My Mage Hand could just pick it up and in the bag of holding.
Perfect.
Excellent. And maybe what else could we throw at them? Like fish from the river?
Yeah, we could. Oh my gosh, what if we remember how I said we should let kids throw rotten fruits and vegetables at you?
Yeah.
Let's not do that and instead throw them at that. Let's find rotten vegetables.
God.
And then we could convince kids to throw them for us.
Yes. Let's go.
Oh my god.
All right, so Sid and Drusilla start
We should
walking.
wait a bit, actually, because we don't want to leave the alley now, just in case they're leaving
It's true.
that place now. Let's wait an hour, and then we leave.
Where do we think we're gonna find them, though?
Good question. Let's wait until we see them walk past the alley,
Yes.
or we just be sneaky and we poke our heads out of the alley and see if we can see them. This would work better if I had a spell slot and I could just disguise myself.
I feel like I might be more stealthy than you are.
Okay, sneak out, see if you can see them.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna really sneakily poke my head out to see if I see them.
Okay, make me a stealth check.
Oof. That's 6.
So, yeah, you see them, and they're like facing your direction. So, like, Sid and Drusilla, you're like, oh, I guess we'll go to the library. And you go to start walking, and you see Ilvim just like peek their head out, like obviously out from this alleyway, like look the other way first, and then turn their head looking right at you after you've already spotted them.
She's gonna pretend like she doesn't see them and kind of like get Sid to do the same.
I will do the same. I will
Ilvim,
pretend like
do
I
you see
did
them?
not see them.
Okay, I saw them. They looked like they didn't see me though. So
Oh, here, and I hand him the vial of Moloch's poo.
okay, great.
I think we might have to just go for it now. And
Right now.
And I pull out the unidentified slime.
Okay, you hit Drew. I'm gonna hit Sid.
Okay, I pop the lid off the slime.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Drew and I'm gonna immediately try to disappear into the crowd.
Okay. Make me a. Make both of you make me a stealth check as you like start vanishing into the crowd.
Ilvim, I have a good idea. I haven't done this yet today.
16.
Okay.
Quick maths. 15, 17.
Okay. All right, Ilvim
Better
and
than my
In the
six.
alleyway, while Ilvim and I
Mhm.
are hiding,
Yep.
I'm going to use my racial trait and say, Ilvim, stay close to me. And I'm going to cast Fog Cloud in the alleyway.
fog erupts in the alley.
Great. Now what?
We sneak forward
Okay, we sneak forward.
in the fog cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guiding Drew towards the library, just moving with the crowd.
Okay. All right. So Ilvim and Hannibal, the two of you, like come out. You like get to the edge of the fog cloud eventually. It's kind of just like spilling out into the street. And as you get to the edge of the fog cloud, you don't see Sid or Drew.
Quick, look around.
Give me some perception checks.
Yes! Oh! That's, I think that's a negative -1 to that. Oh no, +1. 19.
Okay.
6.
All right, Hannibal, you managed to spot both of them like in the crowd heading towards one of the bridges.
I tap Ilvim on the shoulder and go, okay, they're over there.
Right there?
Yeah.
How far away are they?
At this point, they started walking, so they're probably a good distance away from you.
Can I turn back? Can I see them?
I'm gonna just
Yeah,
like
you've been pretty much
charge.
keeping track. Okay, you see
Yeah,
see
same.
them just come, both of them just come running out of this cloud of fog that's like billowing out of this alleyway for no reason.
I grab Drew, run, and we run.
Okay, book it.
Gust of wind in the opposite direction to blow them towards us.
Gust of wind has to originate from you.
That's right.
Blow me towards them.
Okay, I'm gonna boost Ilvin with Gust of Wind because I can do that
All
once
right, this is
per
also
day,
a
too.
this is a crowded street, so you're gonna hit
Sure.
like a bunch of bystanders.
That's
Oh
fine.
my god.
Ilvin, go! Gust of Wind!
No.
So I'm
All
gonna,
right, so let me just make a
yeah.
general strength check for everybody on the
God.
street here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you just like summon this gust of wind. Ilvim just gets launched forward.
DC is 10, by the way.
Yeah, they did not. I got a 6 on the die, so
Yeah, so it's 15 feet away. They get pushed.
yeah.
So
Everyone suddenly gets hit with a gust of wind from behind. Like grabs, like hats go flying off. Like people drop stuff.
Ilvin,
like,
this is the
some
best prank ever.
People are holding. Like, someone's carrying like crates and it knocks them over. Some horses get spooked. A carriage like almost tips over. Ilvim just goes, "What?"
As that happens,
gonna-
I'm just gonna step back into the fog.
Okay.
Homer Simpson
gonna-
style, just.
I'm gonna cast message. What are you two idiots doing?
As you're casting message, Ilvim is like launching through the air, like flying over the crowd, being pushed by the gust of wind, which vanishes. By the way, which vanishes. Hannibal, did you drop the gust of wind? Because that's a concentration.
As soon as Ilvin gets launched, yes.
Okay, I was gonna say because if you went into the fog cloud, it would just disperse the fog cloud. All right, you vanish into the cloud. Ilvim is you.
Oh, hold on a
you
second.
get
I think Fog Cloud's concentration too, actually.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yep, so that's gone. Okay, back
Yeah,
into the
so
alley. Just
back into the alley. All right. Ilvim, you launch through the air. You get within throwing range.
Drew
Okay.
is Naruto running. Just
Same.
I peek around the corner to see what's happening.
All right. Ilvum, if you're gonna do something, this is your chance. What are you doing?
I'm gonna do something, and I'm just gonna huck the vial of poop. I was originally planning on Sid, but Drew's like a little bit closer, so I'm gonna try to hit Drew.
All right, roll a ranged attack roll.
Hate this.
Is Drew
Hey.
within?
Oh,
Oh damn it! I'm like, I have. How close are we?
I think
It doesn't-
you and Drew are holding hand, like you're holding Drew's hand as you're running. So you're
Oh
next
yeah,
to each
can
other.
I deflect missiles?
Well, let's see. So,
Doesn't it have
Can I?
Ilvum, what'd you roll?
Doesn't it have to hit you for
Um,
deflecting missiles?
15.
Okay, I think
That's
is that
it?
okay. I forget. Let's for deflect missiles. Can you deflect 4 other people?
I think it has to be if it
Hey,
hits you.
I think it's just me. It's.
Let's go to the
don't
rules for
know.
the dumbest ruling we've had to look up today.
I think it's for you because
Okay.
yeah.
Let's go to the rule book.
I hate this.
That was straight.
This is
Yep,
so
you have to. It has to hit you.
Oh damn
I
it!
hate this.
So Drusilla, you get hit by a vial of poop that explodes and splatters dog poop all over your back.
And Ilvum just
And
sails
Ilvum,
through
you
the
like,
air.
yeah, Ilvum sails through. I mean, eventually, like Ilvum lands because the gust is gone.
Just catch me! Boom!
Nope,
No, I am not catching you.
absolutely not.
In fact, if I can, I would thorn whip to make you go down faster.
Real quick, did Drusilla ever wash the mud off from the other day?
She never washed it off. She
just
let
kinda
it get dry
flaked
and then
off.
flaked it off.
That's right. Okay, so now there's new brown stuff on your clothes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where does Ilfum land close to
Yeah,
Drew?
Ilvum lands pretty close. Yeah.
Oh, Drew's giving him a big hug, just walking up, just like, hey.
I would like to dodge it.
Post
No.
grapple check. Let's go for a grapple.
And then I'm gonna come running down the street and throw my unidentified slime at Sid from behind.
Deflect
From
missiles.
behind.
Okay. Wait, real quick, let's do the
Deflect
grapple.
missiles.
What am I rolling?
Athletics.
Oh, hell yeah. 19 plus 3.
Fuck.
22. All right, so Ilvum tries to dodge out of the way, but Lil Drew just like wraps her arms around them and just like smears poop.
And then Hannah running down the street.
Yeah, the
Vial
Hannah
of
looking right-
vial of unidentified slime.
Roll it.
Range attack roll, you said? That's cocked.
Yep.
Oof. That's a big old 8.
That's woof.
Please hit a bystander. Please
Yeah,
hit a
let me roll
bystander.
check.
Can I catch it?
So I will say that so you can I will say you can choose to be willingly hit by an attack. So I'll say you
Mhm.
can like willingly be hit, since if it's targeting you, I would say you can willingly be hit by it and then use deflect missiles.
Yes.
Okay. So you can deflect. Would you like to spend a key point to send it back?
I don't have any key left, or else I
Okay.
would.
All right, so it's just like it's flying past you, but you like dodge in the way, so you're about like you would be hit by it, and you just snag it out of the air.
Sweet.
Can I have that back?
I spike it on the ground. And I'm gonna take off running at Hannibal.
Okay.
Drew is running
Douche,
as
douche,
much
douche,
dog
douche.
shit on Ilfum's
Wait. As Sid is running, I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery and be like, "You ain't shit, Sid."
I quite literally didn't.
I guess wisdom saving throw.
bystander thing.
Oh, you
15.
saved.
Yeah, so nothing happens.
I'm like too busy like squealing through the dog poop.
As I'm
Crying.
running,
I
I
jump in
turn
the river.
around and
jump in
run
the river.
backwards and just do this.
I jump in the river.
Okay, so Hannibal just launches himself over the railing, jumps into the river.
And I go underwater because I can breathe underwater.
Oh yeah.
I just stay underwater. As
All
far
right.
down as I can go.
All right, you
my
get to the
plan
bottom
was
of the
to
river.
tackle him into the river, so we're good.
I just stay
Yep.
underwater because I can breathe underwater.
Okay.
Point over the railing, point down at him. Yeah, you stay there.
You hear behind you what the hell are you people doing? And you see an armored hobgoblin in uniform, like shuffling his way through the crowd toward you, kind of parting around you. He's like making his way over.
Attack. There was a trident attack.
His hand on his long sword.
I turned back, arms raised. My apologies, officer. My siblings decided to try and play a prank on us. It's over. We're done. They've been put in their place. I apologize, and we will be on our way shortly.
I've got like at least 12 people over here giving me reports of unauthorized use of offensive magic against a crowd of bystanders.
That was probably the one. That was probably the one who is currently in the water. By all means, I would love to see you kick his ass.
Oh my god! Oh, he's in the water. All right, we'll just wait for him to come up. You all stay put for a second. We need to question you. Yeah, he doesn't know that. He just goes over the railing and starts leaning
over the railing.
Yeah.
Okay, is Drew still holding on to me?
Yes.
Yes, do it. Ilfam, do it.
No.
Push him over.
No.
Push him over the railing.
I'm just gonna like whisper, be like, Drew, let me go.
No. Why?
Just do it. Just let me go.
Why?
It'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be good.
No.
It'll be good.
So let him go.
I'm gonna take just like a running start and tackle him.
I would like to try and intercept and tackle Ilvum to the ground.
Okay.
No.
All right. First, Sid v. Ilvum grapple. Let's go.
My god.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
Oh.
The guard covered in dog shit.
I didn't mess with the guard. I was
like,
What do I?
Athletics.
It's athletics.
Yep.
Can I argue for acrobatics?
Nope, it has to be athletics if you're on the offensive. Acrobatics is only for the defensive.
Fuck.
I mean, I don't think that would have made a difference. Ilvum got a 22. So you like go to tackle Ilvum. Ilvum just like stiff arms and just effortlessly jukes around you.
Oh.
And then now Ilvum athletics against the guard. Roll with advantage because he's not paying attention.
My god.
Can I see out of the water?
A little bit. You can see like the shapes. The surface is like wavy.
Drew isn't just vibing in the background, covered in dog shit.
Go the other way.
I'm gonna bounce.
I got a 14.
Okay, let me see what he gets.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so he got an 18. Oh. So like last second hears you coming behind him and like just steps to the side and you just run just full speed into the stone railing and just like, like what are you doing?
Brother! And I like jump.
So you hit it. He was about to go for and try and grab you, but you just like tumble out over the railing, splash into the water. Hannibal, you just see like just splash from above, like bubbles fall into the water, and then the shape of Ilvum.
I'm just sitting at the bottom of the river, just.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Okay. So he's like, "What was that?"
Oh, sorry, officer. I was just trying to get to my brother at the bottom of the river.
You're all related?
In like the vaguest sense of the term.
Okay, I'm gonna need you all to come with me because for questioning, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like it.
I start swimming away.
Hey.
It was just a prank. It's just a prank. We're done. I will be talking to my siblings and making sure that they understand that what they just did was completely inappropriate. And I apologize.
Sorry,
I'm going to...
As you're all talking, can I have perception checks from everybody? Anyone under the water currently gets advantage.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Shark! With advantage, it's a 13.
Okay.
16.
21.
Okay.
17 plus 6.
Dang. Okay.
Math.
So, you're all doing this. Anyone who got above 15,
Shit.
I think it's everyone but Hannibal.
Yep.
You're all focusing on this. Your attention is caught as you notice like a rather large, like river barge basically coming down the water. Like it's low enough that it's like going underneath the bridges. But you can hear like people, you can hear like other like hobgoblin guards like on the edge of the water, like yelling at it, basically like, hey, wait, you can't come down here, not authorized, too big. Like you just hear them like yelling like traffic violations at it basically as it's making its way along. But you don't really see it slowing down. Is Drew the only one that got over a 20?
No, I got a 21.
Oh, okay. Both of you, however, looking at it, Ilvim especially, because you're in the water and like kind of bobbing up and down with like the movement of the river, you notice like 4 protrusions coming off of the bottom of the boat, like 2 on the front and 2 on the back. And what?
What? I didn't say anything.
I'm underwater and swimming, so
yeah, but you're facing the other direction. You didn't notice any of this.
No, I didn't.
Not paying attention. Ilvim, you're the one that with the 20 and being in the water, you can like when you bob under the water for one of the times, you can see that the bottom of the barge has holes in it, and you can see what appear to be arms and legs sticking out like of the boat under the water but they're like statue arms. It's like made of, it's like solid metal arms and legs, but that are probably like maybe like 20 feet long each. They're like almost scraping the bottom of the river as it's making its way into the city.
What the fuck?
And all the guards are like screaming at it to stop.
Yeah, basically like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be going this way.
What's the top of the barge look like?
Pretty unremarkable, and you don't see anyone on the surface.
Can I try to acrobatics my way onto it?
Same.
It's like further down to your right, so you have to like make your way over to it.
Okay, I will full speed go for it and hardcore parkour my way onto the barge.
Okay.
I have 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
One, I would like to yell at the guard, like, don't worry, diplomatic immunity, talk to House Navy. And then as I see Sid start running, I'm gonna like yell about the weird legs to Sid.
The boat's got legs.
The boat has legs.
It has legs and like spiky protrusions.
Kind of, yeah. Or it's just like it's like arms and legs made of jagged metal, basically. Like jagged, rusty metal.
Ilvim as quickly became Hannibal's favorite.
I'm going to shout back at the guards as I'm running. I don't know what's going on, but this thing looks like a weapon. I'm going to see if I can stop it.
Okay, so you give me the acrobatics check to get onto the boat. And Ilvim, you're swimming through the water, but you can like clamber your way up.
Okay.
So give me an athletics check to like swim and climb your way onto there.
Great,
23.
I would love to do that. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, you're swimming, but you can't make it there quite in time. Sid, however, you said 23.
Mm-hmm.
You like ninja run along the railing, the stone railing, like away from the guard, and then hop off, sail through the air, and then come into a roll on the deck of the barge. It's just very, very flat on top, with like the bottom is a little bit bigger. There's like a below deck section that's hanging below the waterline.
Mm-hmm.
With basically like a very small like above deck cabin in the back. And as you land on it, you can see that there is like, you can see into the cabin. There's like actually not windows in the windows. There's no glass there. It's just open.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the sense this is like almost it's almost like it looks like almost like a fake boat. Like all of the things that should be there, like there's no one you don't see anyone in that back part. And there's like looking around, like you've seen boats before and you've seen a few things. It's like there's nothing to tie anything off. You don't see an anchor. You don't see, like, it looks like the bare minimum to give the appearance of a boat.
So which direction is it going? Like, is it going like towards us and I'm gonna get stomped on?
It is coming it's coming towards you. It was coming from the ocean.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, cool.
Yeah, so Hannibal is swimming away from it.
Yeah.
Sid,
No,
throw
so-
me a rope before I get stomped on by these feet.
I will throw a rope. And
Do you
also,
have one?
Do I have a rope? I'm pretty sure I have a rope.
Okay, because there's none on deck,
Mine-
so you have to have your own. Gotta bring your own from home.
Yeah, I got a rope.
Okay.
I got 50 feet rope.
All right, so you toss this rope down. And then make me, real quick, one more, just for Sid, perception check for hearing.
For hearing?
As you're listening on top of the boat, yeah, if that makes a difference.
Okay. Natural 20.
Okay. So you're standing on top of you're standing on top of the boat, and like there's like some gaps in the boards on the deck, which is also like ship boards should not have gaps between them. They should be pretty like watertight. This one kind of does, like poorly put together. And you can hear voices from below deck, like speaking, trying to speak quietly, but you can hear because you're close enough. And they're just like, "Is it time? Is it time? Should we go? Should we go? Are we ready? Are we there?"
Fuck.
Okay. Is there any sort of like anything like leading down?
You don't see any, but it would probably be in that cabin in the back. You also just toss the rope down to Ilvim, and there's nothing to tie it off to.
Okay. I'm holding it, and as I'm holding it, waiting for Ilvim to like climb up, I'm going to shout back at the guard as loud as I can. It's a Trojan horse!
Why don't you just use message so he for sure hears you?
Okay, shit. I'm gonna use a message. It's a Trojan horse.
To one of the guards?
Yes.
Okay.
To the guard I was talking to specifically, it's a Trojan horse.
The one that was by you guys, or the one that you were shouting to? Like on the
Either.
Okay. The one you're shouting to, like that was yelling at it to stop, is probably closer.
Yeah.
Drew, the one by you, is like noticed this and like all this. I was like, what are they doing with the boat? What?
That's not us. Not us.
Okay.
Also-
Ilvim, you're climbing your way up. As you're coming up out of the water, you can hear. Sid, they didn't hear that it's a Trojan horse thing with the message, but the guards start like mobilizing and calling for help, and you can see like you hear that voice like as Ilvim is getting up onto the ship, like onto the front of it. You hear the voices down below, just like, "I think they know we're here. All right, screw it, go!"
Fuck.
Oh,
So you hear
Jesus.
that, you have like as Ilvim's getting up onto the edge of the ship, you have about like a second to do whatever you're gonna do in response to that.
Oh shit.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the back where I assume there is a way down.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I see?
All right, you head down. You like bust through the door, and there's basically just like a ladder, like a hole that leads down below decks, and you climb down. Where you basically, you guys have to adjust for a second, but you see basically, Ilvim described to you like giant metal arms and legs made of, like essentially scrap metal. You see the rest of a torso that matches that description that the arms and legs appear to be attached to, filling basically the entire bottom of the ship, made of like jagged pieces of rusty metal, all like fused and welded together. There's like cables and pulleys and things sticking off of it. But it's like the torso itself is not like humanoid. It's like almost blocky and almost rectangular in its shape, with like you can kind of see a head-like protrusion off the front with no neck. But you can see slight movement on and around it. It looks like there's people inside of this structure. And right as you get down there, you see one of the arms move and start pulling itself up out of the water. And then just an elbow moves up and just busts through the side of the boat. And everyone outside, you see the side of the boat just explode outward and splinter as this giant mechanical arm, about 20 feet long by itself, bursts through the side of the ship, and the body just starts moving and tearing apart the ship as it starts to stand up in the river.
Oh god.
Oh,
Oh god.
how many people are down here?
Hard to tell. You can't tell. Like, pretty much they're all like on or in this structure, and you can't really get a good look because it looks like it's hollow on the inside, and it is containing probably a good number of people.
Oh my god.
Okay.
As the ship begins, what?
I said mech suit.
Kinda. It appears to be moving on its own. Ilvim, so you're on the. Yeah, I know. Well, you start to hear the like reverberations of the boat being ripped apart through the water behind you.
I guess I'll turn around. And look,
Yeah, you
not
see-
go back, just like turn and look.
Yeah, as you turn around, you can see like a pair of arms ripping apart this ship as like these giant legs settle on the bottom of the river.
I just stare.
Okay, Ilvum, you're on the deck of the ship as the front of it is just being ripped to pieces.
Fuck. I'm just gonna keep like running to where like the stable ground is as it's like getting torn up until eventually there's like none left, and then I'm just gonna try to like hop onto the body.
Okay, give me an acrobatics check to try and like stay on the surface as like the wood planks just being torn up from underneath you.
Okay. Ooh, unnatural 20.
Okay, so you're managing to like make your way along it, and eventually, like as it stands up and the rest of the boat, the back end of the boat just like falls off of it. You manage to jump up and grab onto the panels. There's plenty of things to hold on to. This thing is not smooth or sleek at all. It's like pieces of metals are just like haphazardly slapped onto it with like jagged pieces sticking off. It has almost like the way its body stands, like there's a back end of it that almost forms a tail and counterbalance for the body that slopes forward and the arms hang off of, and it's got standing this big trunk-like legs. Very similar in shape. The best I could describe it is to a metal Tarrasque.
Oh,
Great.
And size as well, as it stands up in the river, and Ilvum, you're hanging onto the side. Sid, as you're hanging onto this ladder, you can see like the boat gets basically ripped in half, and the back half you're on starts sinking into the river.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I want to move so that I'm not sinking into the river, and I want to try to find a power source.
Okay, so you want to get onto the creature?
Yes.
Okay, make me an acrobatics check. So basically, like get up the ladder, and then run up the back end of the ship as it's titanicking down into the river.
Oh my God, that's not 8.
Okay, you make a running leap and you reach for it, and then you like your fingertips like just catch on something, you don't manage to grab onto it, and you fall and land in the water right next to one of its legs.
Hannibal is going to swim his full swimming speed towards it, 30 feet of swim speed.
Okay, so you've been swimming in the other direction, so you turn around and start coming back that way. Drusilla, you see this metal monstrosity standing up in the river. Like the water basically of this pretty deep river is pretty much coming up to its like upper thighs. Like it is mostly out of the river, and everyone just kind of stops and stares as this thing stands up. And as it does, panels open all over it, and you can see at first glance dozens of people bust out of like panels and hatches on the sides and backs of it. Some stay hanging on, others like jump off like into the water or try to make it to the sides, like onto the streets. For the most part, they are like covered in like soot and grease and wearing like not a lot of clothing, wielding weapons that appear to be very similar quality to the structure of this thing, like a lot of like what appears to be slapped together scrap metal. Some of them at first glance, it looks like they're wearing like armor on just an arm or just a leg, but you realize that they have replaced an armor leg with a warforged limb, and several of them also are full-on warforged that are jumping off, and they've got all sorts of weird weapons. Some of them have things that appear to be like firearms, which you've heard of, but like homemade firearms. As they leap off into the city, and this giant mechanical monster turns and just lets out a metallic grinding screech, almost like a roar, and then people around you just start to scream and panic.
Okay. Can I? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, and that's what we're going to pick up next week.
Oh my God!
And
am I by the guard? That was like,
yeah, you're still right. You're still right next to there. Yeah.
Just gonna pat him on the back, get some dog shit on there, and just be like, "Good luck."
You can see Ilvum just like hanging on to the back of it,
just screaming, "Evacuate! Evacuate!"
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Also, you can also Ilvum. You like someone pops out like right next to you.
Fuck!
You can see he like this guy pops out like shirtless and covered in grease, but with this like rusty mechanical arm with basically a buzzsaw blade instead of a hand.
This is gonna go great next week.
Mm-hmm. And that's where we're gonna. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I have no key left and 5 hit points.
I have
Mhm.
7 hit points and no spell slots.
I have 11. Yeah, 11 and no spell slots. But I'm gonna go back through the backlog of episodes and figure out what my 2 spell scrolls do.
Yeah. All right. So remember all your stuff, and that's where we're starting next Sunday. So
I have 2 first level spell slots.
It's gonna be great.
see you all then.
Excited.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
All right.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god.
Observe this.
Looking forward to hearing this
Oh my
recap.
god. Why?
Ilvem, just became Hannah's
Why?
new favorite with that prank.
What the hell?
Why?
Oh, that was so much fun.
That was amazing.
That was so good.
What are we
man.
going to do? We have nothing.
Did we cause this?
We're going to save the
No.
day.
Oh my god.
Are we?
Yes.
No.
I think
We're
Drew
gonna
might
try.
die.
We have to run. There's no fighting that thing.
Well, no, I plan on trying to get inside of it and disable it.
Run away!
Well,
And
you'll
let
figure it
this
out next
city Be
week.
destroyed? No thanks. Oh my god.
So I'm excited to start with that next week.
Me too.
Fun times.
Sam, what the fuck?
Oh man.
We are so high. And we
Any
came so low.
any closing things to say, Sam?
Come back next week to see how that goes.
Yes. Also, come by again at 10:30 tonight for more Descend into Avernus because it's getting spicy. Someone just did an
It
infernal.
sure is.
Someone just did an infernal contract to bring back a dead character with the price of their soul being the deal. So, yay!
Fun.
Ooh.
But that's everything for me to say. So,
All right. Well, see y'all next week or this afternoon and on Wednesday. I think Thursday, Friday,
What?
Thursday. I'm just
Thursday.
all the games this week. I was
Oh,
like, see y'all next week.
yeah, tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for episode 57 of Beneath the Tide. 57? Yeah. And then Thursday for something I've been planning for so long.
Oh, good. Great.
The
Love
players
that. We
entered
love that part.
Nedregard Keep in Ravenloft, so
Ooh,
if you know what that is, it's
Love
Lord
it.
Soth's old place of residence. So
fun.
good night, everybody. Or good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Like 1:30.
Bye.
4:18. Bye, everybody.
Okay.